Baby hands and ruby lips, special magic from her fingertips. She could heal a nation with just a touch, make your soul cry without as much. Bring from the wellsprings on desert sand, walk on the oceans that's tableland. She was just that you comprehend. The lady of love, dream of every man. I'm talking about love. Talking about love. Talking about love. Talking about love. I'm talking about L-O-V-E. Talking about love. I'm talking about love. I will walk a million miles over glass my feet bare. Stare directly at the sun until blinded by the glare. Climb Everest the mountain, swim the deepest sea. If this woman I see would give her love to me, through bloodshot eyes did she call to me. But for the love I would no longer be known. If you will love me, you can really say. But for a moment with her, give a 1,000 days. Talking about love. Talking about love. That's what I'm talking about. Talking about love. Talking about L-O-V-E love. Talking about love. I'm talking about love. Let's take it home tonight. I'm talking about love. Talking about love. Talking about love. It'll make a blind man talk about seeing again. Make a crippled man think about dancing again. I'm a man in love, this you already know. And for my baby's up, I will walk through the rain and the snow. Can you ever love me? Who can really say? For my baby's up, I can never walk away. Come on and play. Yeah, yeah. Break it down for me. Let's talk about love. Talking about love. I'm talking about love. Talking about love. See, this man loves a woman. Talking about love. And it can change the world with the good thing he's found. Talking about love. See, he's going around telling everybody. Talking about love. Telling everybody about the love she's putting down. Talking about love. Yes, she did. Talking about love. loving you, yeah. I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you.
I'll be loving you.
I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you.
I'll be loving you.
I'll be loving you.
I'll be loving you.
I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you. I'll be loving you.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports contests and events with first-to-market odds and lines. What's up, y'all? It's your man, Lloyd Spence. And listen, all you got to do is find your reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf, all at betonline.ag. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. So, head to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. It's BetOnline, it's where the game starts. Tell them the Noisemakers sent you.
Popcorn World.
Popcorn World. Yeah. baby. Come on, let's let it be. Popcorn world. Can I make you move now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. Put the big around the world when the holes in your hand. Popcorn world. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn world. Popcorn world. Popcorn world. Popcorn world. The popcorn world. What's that saying? Breaking down the rumors and smelling out. Speaking for the people who must go around. Taking truth to power with a whisper and a shout. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Hey yeah, say it again, say we're talking noise. Yeah, talking noise. Really don't have to fool around. Never noise keeps us lined up. No truth divine. The sign that you is a sign of success. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, talking noise. Yeah, picking up all the time. We're talking noise. Oh yeah, yeah. Talking noise. Say it again. We're talking noise.
Welcome to Talkin NOIZ, the daily podcast that brings you up to speed and keeps you informed about real issues affecting real people. With your host, Mr. Talkin NOIZ himself, Lloyd Spence. His beautiful wife, Mrs. Noise, Kenyatta Spence. The ever-informed Brother Noise, Alan Brown. And yours cordially, Uncle Noise, Shake Anderson. Come on in and join us as we reveal and opine today's most pressing issues. Real truth while having real fun. Talkin NOIZ is in your house right now. So sit back and enjoy Talkin NOIZ.
Good people of Noise and beyond, have no fear. We are back in the building. Mama Noise, you got a mood light thing going right now. You're working on the deficiency.
I got production over here trying to
bring you into the light. I understand. We're gonna make it work. We ain't gonna bring too much attention to it. We're just gonna make it work.
I can't get any closer.
That's good. That's good. Just don't worry about it. Don't worry. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. Shout out to you, Mama Noise. Shout out to Dion King just pulled up. Happy birthday to the D King.
Yeah, happy birthday to the king.
To the King, Martin Luther and Dion.
That is funny.
Listen, the show just got a lot more beautiful because Patrice is here, Lala, aka Laura, is here. You know what?
Good to see you guys. I missed you.
We miss seeing you too. We miss seeing you too. You know what? And let me tell you something. Let me tell you how amazing you guys are, and how sad this is all at the same time. Y'all here, y'all are guests in our home. We appreciate y'all being here. And these trifling Negroes is late. You see what they doing? How you gonna invite somebody to your church and then not be on time? That ain't right. That ain't even right. It's all right though. We gonna press on anyhow. We gonna press on anyhow. It's good to see y'all, ladies. How y'all doing?
Good. It's been a journey, but you know what? God is good, and
God is
every day I
good,
just have to say thank you, because you know what? I could be on the other side, but no, I'm still on this side, so I still have a mission.
As Uncle Al tells us all the time, better to be seen and viewed. You know,
That's right.
So praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Miss Patrice, you doing all right?
You know what? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for having me. And happy birthday to whomever that Leo is. Wow.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. That was both a praise and an announcement. Are you gonna give us a date as to when we go?
Well, you know what? Both of my kids are Leos.
Okay, I knew somebody was a Leo because you don't just throw that out there like that. I knew something was going on. Somebody was celebrating something.
She said Leo. Rawr.
Technically, all three of us are Leos. So
see,
my daughter,
that's what I thought. I thought you tried to hide it from me, but I understand what was going on.
My daughter's was the second, my son's the 8th, and mine's right after his.
Oh wow! So y'all stacked up on top of each other.
Yup, in 1 week.
All right, then I ain't mad at it. We got the same thing happening here. I have one sister that has it on the 2nd, another I have it on the 5th of March, and then my grandmother, another sister has it on the 8th, and then my grandmother's on the 11th. So we all in there together.
Pisces.
And somehow in the middle of all that, Pisces, and somehow in the middle of all that, we managed to put a wedding anniversary in there somewhere. So yeah, it's a busy week.
What's up?
Yeah, it's a busy week. So I get it. Listen, Noisemakers, we appreciate y'all pulling up on what has been a monumental news day, both good and bad, all the way across the board. So many weird and amazing and troubling and all kinds of news is breaking today. So we got a lot to talk about. And because we have so much to discuss today, we have to open the show with White Organist, because we need the Lord. We need the Lord to bless it. It is a lot going on, and I need White Organist to just do what he do. So if White Organist, if you don't mind, sir, please bless the people. Yes, thank you, White Organist. Good Lord. Noisemakers, as you know, it has been an eventful day today, and we have so much to discuss, so many church announcements to give you, and then we just want to bless it all under the Spirit of the Lord. And so please grab your church fans, please grab your Bibles and your tithing envelopes and whatever you need to get comfortable in your pew seats. And we just gonna have a good time in the name of the Lord. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready. Thank you, White Organist.
Lala done brought out the church fan.
Yes. Come on, White Organist. I needed that tonight. I needed it. It's a lot going on.
Ooh.
I mean, between, indictments and monkeypox, it's a spectrum. It's a spectrum right now.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
Huh?
It's an emotional roller coaster.
It's a roller coaster. I'm telling you, it's a roller coaster. But we're going to start with good news today. We're going to start with good news. Ladies and gentlemen, and this is near and dear to all of our hearts because we are Kentucky kids. So this is very near and dear to our heart. Our state could not get this right. But thank God we have a federal government that could. We are finally, after almost exactly 2 years, a little over 2 years, we have finally indicted the 4 police officers, Joshua James, Brent Hankinson, Kelly Goodlett, and Kyle Meany. They have been federally charged with civil rights violations, unlawful conspiracies, unconstitutional use of force, and obstruction of justice. They have been federally charged by the U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland, and they have been subsequently arrested for their crimes. And also, 2 of them are in the processes of termination, while the other 2 have already been fired. Although it is almost unbelievable to think that 2 people have been working in the state of Kentucky with this egregiousness that they have committed. But nevertheless, this has been an unbelievable roller coaster ride of emotion, and finally a measure of justice has been served to these 4 officers. And I believe, based on what I've been reading in regards to these 4 officers, the federal government has taken their time to get this right. I think they have these gentlemen pretty much dead to rights, and we're going to see, I think, a conviction on these gentlemen. I don't think. One thing about the federal government that's different than the local governments, the federal government doesn't typically bring charges unless they know they got you. They typically wait until they got all the facts and all the evidence and all of everything, and that's when they bring the charges. And because I think one of the obstructions was that the 2 guys met in a garage and corroborated their story on May 2020 to figure out what they were going to say publicly or whatever. So the fact that they know that they was in a garage, yeah, they come on now. I think they ready. They have presented what appears to be a very airtight case on these gentlemen, and it appears that they are going to jail where they
understood the assignment.
They understood the assignment. Shout out to U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland. In addition to that, one of the things that I get most excited about, in addition to that, is that even though he tried to issue a trash statement this evening, saying, there are people trying to divide us in Kentucky, and they're trying to separate us, but we've been together. Damn that, Daniel Cameron. People are calling for an investigation on him as well, as they should, because I think the fix was in from the start, and he needs to go. He needs to be brought up on charges as well. That's what I believe. Now I'm hoping. I know the current president of the NAACP just issued a statement. Maybe just not too long ago. It wasn't that long ago. He issued a statement, a press release. Yeah, the local branch of the NAACP, Raul Cunningham. He said the action represents bringing charges against those gentlemen was the first time anyone has been directly held accountable for Taylor's death. In announcing the arrest, the U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said Breonna Taylor should still be alive. And he said the officers not only violated Taylor's Fourth Amendment rights, but also knew the falsification would lead to a dangerous situation. Oh, by the way, they falsified a warrant. One that resulted in Miss Taylor's death. Taylor's death triggered a wave of local and national protest that lasted 4 months as Louisville became the epicenter of social justice. And he says, Raul Cunningham, president of Louisville NAACP, said the federal charges raised the question of whether Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron's investigation should be examined, and it raises further questions about the scope and propriety of Cameron's investigation and presentation to the grand jury, it is clear now that his investigation didn't go far enough or deep enough. So I think the next person that's going to be brought up on into some conversations will be Daniel Cameron, because he needs to be. There's no way this could have unfolded the way that it did, and you get two very different outcomes in the investigation. So, ladies, we've been saying her name for quite some time. I know you probably have as well. What are your thoughts on everything that has taken place today?
It's about time. I know that sometimes we want to rush things, but because Kentucky didn't get it right, I needed the feds to take all the time that they needed in order to get this right. So I'm asking them to come through. The fact that you're right, they knew that they were talking in the garage. They know a whole lot more than we know. So you better bet they dug deep. Now, Merrick Garland, he's kind of on my in the middle boat. There are some things that he does right and some things that I don't really see him doing correctly. But in this situation, I'm happy with him so far. I'm just hoping that it's not going to be smoke and mirrors, because if it is smoke and mirrors, we're going to see the exact same thing that we saw when the protests started, and it's going to be nationwide again. But unfortunately, I feel our country has gone back so far and we have so much to fight that we need this win.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It feels like they're getting this right. It feels like it so far, and to come out so intensely, I gotta believe that their focus is justice. And so, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. Miss Patrice, your thoughts, and Mama Noise.
Yeah, I agree 100% as well. The thing is I'm not holding my breath though. I'm just going to wait and see, because I don't want to get, I think we should definitely celebrate the small victories along the way, as we're working towards a bigger goal. But I'm not going to get too excited because we don't have a verdict yet. But the fact that they are holding them accountable, at least on some level, it gives me hope. I just want to make sure that it's not false hope. And so I am happy. It's definitely good news. And it looks like, we've got people in our corner, people who are, and not even necessarily just in our corner, people who want to do what's right.
Right.
Because this whole thing, it makes no sense. She should still be alive. She should still be alive today. We should not know who she is.
Right.
But the fact that we do tells me, okay, like Lala said, we're going backwards. We're going backwards. And, it is, our home state. And there's a lot of things that I love about Kentucky. That is one of them that I don't. And I had told, when people ask me all the time, why did I leave Kentucky? To be quite honest with you, with all the things, it's a great place to raise your kids, but in some respects. But I always told people that we're like 25 years behind. And that was like 20 some years ago. So the fact is like we went forward a little bit and now we're going back. And it makes no sense that it had to go to this level, because Kentucky should have took care of it. But we know why it is what it is. But I'm hopeful. I'm just going to say that I'm hopeful that we keep moving forward and these men are held accountable for their actions.
Amen for that. Mama Noise and Mr. Uncorked Wine just put up in the building, so love to hear their thoughts as well.
I'm over here working with production.
You look good, boo. You're doing good.
Trying to get me some light. Okay, so I'm in total agreement. Lala, you was saying my sentiments exactly. Patrice, absolutely. The reason why I said Lala was because I'm trying to be hopeful. So hopeful meaning that with the situation out here in Texas with Tatiana Jefferson, hopeful that if the things that are moving, at least moving in the situation with Breonna Taylor, makes me hopeful that we will finally see justice as well with Tatiana Jefferson. That should never have happened either. We could go on to Jesus' return with all the things that should not have happened. But I'm so hopeful. I gotta hold on to something. You know what I'm saying? I would hope that all those things that people have been doing over the years since her death, if I understand it correctly, I haven't been to Louisville in a while to be able to confirm, but I saw the pictures of the airbrush on the basketball court of Breonna Taylor and the NBA players with her name on their shoes and the shirts and everything that they've done to try to keep this woman's name in the forefront in hopes that we get justice for her death. So I'm but that's why I said la, but then I feel Patrice with the hold my breath, but I don't want to hold my breath. I want to believe that I want to believe that something is going to happen. I mean, what is the alternative? That we just give up and assume that all this was all for naught? I mean, that's not what I expected my city to be. People are like, where are you from? I didn't expect the city of Louisville to be known around the world for the death of Breonna Taylor over, other than Kentucky Derby. I mean, you're like, I don't know. I'm a mixed bag of emotions with the whole situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the only man that's in Louisville right now, on the screen anyway, Mr. Uncorked Wine, aka Ron Nolan, aka Kyrie. What's up?
What's going on? How y'all doing? Everybody doing?
Everybody's good. What's the temperature of the city right now as it relates to this?
Come on, dude. It's August. It's always hot. No matter what the hell going on, it's hot.
That's true. That's very true.
It is hot. Just one correction to everything that was said. Can we at least get 15 years behind instead of 25? Can we at least move just 10 years? Just 10. That's all we want.
Right. They got internet. We got
internet. We starting to get internet in the West End now. So we just move.
Really?
It's racial relations is what I mean.
We're moving on up. I'm sorry.
Everything else is moving along. It's more the racial relations.
Racial relations, you more like 40 to 50. We way behind the times when it comes to that. Yeah, it's pretty bad, man.
Is there a sense of relief today or no?
Say it again.
Is there a sense of relief today in the city, or does it feel like people are kind of like, well, that's good? I mean, or is it like maybe a little trepidation? How are people feeling about it?
It's probably more trepidation. A lot of people are not really saying much right now. I think everybody's still they're still waiting. You know how Kentucky is. We're not going to do nothing right away. We're going to wait and see. Then if it really goes forward, then you'll start seeing people kind of get out and really start saying things. But right now, it's quiet, man. Even the news is not really saying a lot. I mean, they're kind of talking about it, but it's not. You'll get more breaking news of other stuff out over what you're going to see from Breonna Taylor. So.
Right.
That's what I thought. I was sitting there wondering if the Brittany Griner stuff has been drowning out the news cycles.
You really don't know how to let me lead into this stuff, do you? You just be jumping on into the next topic. I was coming to the Brittany Griner.
Listen. I just meant that it seemed like that it was getting drowned out with that.
Nope.
Not trying to.
So now we're here. I guess we'll talk about Brittany Griner now. The news about Brittany Griner also came out today. It says Mama Noise is rushing us on down the road. Wasn't so good today. It
trade didn't go through?
Well, not yet. And to kind of help people understand, as bad as today sounded, it was also a necessary part of this journey for her in order to get to the place where she ultimately released. So, to the surprise of no one, she was convicted today and found guilty of smuggling drugs within the borders of Russia. And she was sentenced to 9 years. It would have been 9.5, but I think they kind of gave her some time served kind of thing, and then said we're going to give her 9 years. Now, what we are being told is that this 9-year conviction makes her officially a prisoner, which allows for now the United States and Russia to have a true dialogue of a prisoner swap, if you will. So we call it here the trade. They're in trade negotiations, and the young man that Russia wants to be brought home, an arms dealer. I think his name is Victor something. I forget his last name, but it appears that they want him to be brought back to Russia, and we want Brittany to be brought back as well. So the conversations are about doing a swap. Now, I'll say my thoughts real quick, and I'd love to hear everybody else's thoughts on it all. My only fear is that we want Brittany far more than they want Victor. And because we want Brittany more, it feels like they're probably they're in more of a negotiation advantage than we are. And so initially, before the conviction, it looked like an even swap, if you will. And then now that there is a conviction, I wonder if the trades is going to change. And so now we want Victor and at some point, will it become too much of an ask, and then it delays the process? So I'm concerned about that part because it's negotiations at this point. Some of the sources are saying this could happen within the next few weeks. Others saying we don't know, but this is where we are, and hopefully we can get to the other side of this quickly. But I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on the Brittany Griner news that broke today, as Cuz joins us as well. Cuz Noise is in the building. Hello, Cuz Noise.
Hello, ladies. How are you guys?
Really? You just going to ignore the fellas? Because
nice to
put the ladies in their proper place. There you go.
nice to be
All that beauty up front. There you go.
such beautiful
you guys.
women.
Yeah, I mean, you can just black our screens out at the bottom, player. It'll probably be better.
Just listen to our voices. Yeah, we good.
There's chairs in the background.
Extra.
I don't disagree.
Yeah. Okay, we were joking about that. This is a live show.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
All right. How do you feel about the Brittany Griner thing, Cuz?
You know, I don't.
Or the Breonna Taylor. Or the Breonna Taylor.
Brittany Griner, I don't feel. I hope she gets released. Life is all about decisions, in my humble opinion. And they were, it's not going to sound right, but they were over there chasing what they were chasing and doing what they were doing in a very unstable place during good times. They got caught up. How many of Americans have been held over there? I know we, as African Americans, our heart goes out to Brittany because it's Brittany. But Russians have been doing this to Americans forever.
Yeah.
And we know that. And they know that when they go over there. You know, whenever you go overseas, generally you are briefed to keep your ducks in a row. Don't go over there acting a fool. It's kind of like back in Mississippi. We knew when we went over on the other side of town, don't go over there in Pearl acting no fool. Them white folks gonna arrest your ass and you ain't coming back.
Yeah.
Same thing with a place like Russia. You over there, and you know the laws are shady, and the people are, well, the government is shady, and that doesn't excuse what's happened to her.
Right.
But she's not the first, and she won't be the last.
Well, that was a hardcore take on it.
You said something earlier that now we want. Now I think you said something. Now we want to do something. Now we want her because she's been convicted.
Well, I think we want her more than they want the other guy.
I don't think they want her more.
Uh-oh.
Talk about America?
Yeah. I think the American people want her more. I don't think the American government wants her more.
That's
the people who are doing the negotiation, what's the want for them? Because we said that she had to wait till she got convicted. They traded people prior to convictions. They've negotiated trades of people who have not been fully arrested, who's not got time served and all that. So I don't trust that the government wanted her as much as we want her. I don't think the government see the benefit of the trade for Brittany Griner.
The government, you mean the United States?
United States. I don't think they see the benefit. Because if they saw the benefit, she'd have been home by now.
Well, there is no benefit. There is no benefit to the government other than politicians doing what their constituents want.
Well, I was going to say, maybe not to the government, but to Biden it is.
But which politician? How many politicians?
President Biden. To President Biden, there's a massive benefit because his poll numbers are in the tank. So if he could get Brittany Griner home, he probably would see a significant uptick.
But think about it. How long he's had 170 days? 20 days he's been in COVID.
I was gonna say he's been in COVID for some time, Ron. You gotta give some time.
30 days. 30 days his ass has been asleep. So what about the other 90?
You know how many days he's been in office, Kyrie?
Too damn long.
He's working on it.
I mean, if he wanted her back, he know how to negotiate to get her back. They know how to negotiate to get her back. They could have made that trade a long time.
Wait. What I want to piggyback on is that they got that Marine out from over there.
Different benefits.
I know it's gonna rattle Jay's cage, Mr. Army Man, but I'm saying the Marine that was over there, they had the little old white lady, his mama, that was saying, "Oh, my son's over there, President Biden," and we was in Texas. President Biden came riding through in Texas, his motorcade. She outside with a big old sign saying, "Get my son out of Russia. Get my son out of." You know he in the service. You know he been in the service. You know he a Marine, and then all of a sudden, well, we're in negotiations, having conversations with the mother of the guy that's overseas, and then all of a sudden, voila, that individual is back stateside.
But you know, he also came out and spoke about how urgent it is to bring her home. Let's put all that aside, guys. I know whatever she did is whatever she did. Russia don't like us. We know that. But let's face the fact. We know, us women know what's happening to her. And I don't care who you are, what reason you went over there. The last thing I want is any of our women to be punished like that. Any of our men as well. You know, they're doing that as well with men. Let's not be stupid. But you know, she's a part of the community where most Russians hate. First of all, she's Black. Second of all, she is gay. So she's got 2 strikes against us, third being American. They're going to do everything that they can to her. When that woman comes home, she's going to be broken. And I pray over her every day. I don't care what she did. No one deserves that.
That's why I said I think they could have been and got her out if they wanted to.
Listen.
Well, what does Ben got her out mean, though? I mean, y'all keep saying that, but
Who is y'all?
Well, Mama Noise and Kyrie.
I will be happy to respond to what I said. I know what I said. I simply said Ben done got her out, meaning that you express lane that Marine out of there. Hear me? I'm talking about this. Well, if I'm clear, I think it was this year. His mama was standing on the side expressway, flagging out.
We got it.
So I'm just saying, not long after that, his tail was back stateside.
Okay, Mr. Rand.
Why are you yelling at us?
Because Mr. Noise talking about, well, Mama Noise said, and Mama Noise is
reason.
Hey, just because you have
take some
lovely
off.
women on here with you, don't you act up
like that. She feeling froggy.
You know what, cuz? No, hold up. You know what, cuz? Now you know what it's like. Yeah, you got a bunch of estrogen on here. You know what it's like. I be getting overwhelmed with testosterone all the time. Now you know it's estrogen up in this camp. They done said, listen here, it's a woman over in the jail. Now everybody go, that's right.
Not what Mama Noise. No, wait. Now we can't put out all the information we just want to put out. That's not necessarily true. I don't think it's as simple as it's a woman and now the rules have changed. I think these are very difficult negotiations because of the circumstance that you can't equate a POW as the same as a person that got caught with a vape pen. That's a different thing.
But what are you trying to say?
My answer, Lloyd, was
I said it.
I don't get it.
He's a POW, a prisoner of war.
Did he go over there? Was it voluntarily? Did he get captured?
It doesn't matter, Mama Noise. He's a soldier.
Was he on vacation? Was he over there visiting relatives?
Mama Noise. It does not matter.
I'm trying to find out what's going on because she was over there playing playing basketball on a team. It ain't like she was just over there kicking it. She was working.
Okay, but you can't go commit a crime.
And furthermore, they try to say she smuggled. I'm saying, did she have a kilo? Did she have some cases? What did she have? They said she had a vape pen.
They went looking for something. Come on, guys. You know a vape pen ain't nothing. And you know what? You can go over there with the daggone CBD and they will call that a drug and do anything they can. They made an example of that lady. Putin knew exactly what he was doing. He knew he was going to be in this war. I don't care if you have a freckle on your face. I don't care if you are a prisoner of war. I don't care if you're over there for basketball. Personally, I honestly think none of us need to be over there and shouldn't be over there at all. But this woman is over there now, and that's the fact. She needs to be home.
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if anybody disagrees with that part. I think that the other side of it is to understand that that's Russia.
Yeah,
they've been evil. They've always been this way. They're gonna probably always be this way until somehow Russia becomes this democratic whatever. If that ever was to happen, this is the way they are. And so
Putin has got his eyes on America. What people do not understand, and I wish they would look at the daggone map the right way and not the wrong way. If you look at the map the right way, you see that there's one tiny slip of land, and he's waiting to push himself right over there across Alaska to get his butt over here. That's his ultimate goal.
To get where?
Here, to these states. That's his goal. He's going to do everything that he can. So anything that he can do to make us appear weak, he's going to do weakness. His whole goal is to get over here. This is why Trump is such his playmate, his puppet master. Putin and them have an agenda. They've always wanted Americans to look weak. They never could stand us in the first place, and they don't like us, period. Honestly, like I said, I don't think we don't need to be going over there for any reason, sports or anything. But the ultimate goal is to bring down America and show their power over us.
Let's be absolutely clear. Russia does not have the power to bring down America.
No, but he's deranged. I know that. I know that.
I understand.
I know that, but he's
they're struggling to get Ukraine.
he don't want no ass whooping like that. They should give him an ass whooping if he come out coming over here. I'm just saying, I'm a military guy. I know what we can do. We'll wear that ass out.
Which I'm trying to figure out why we're not now. Not trying to get off the subject, but I don't know why the world is letting this happen. He's a madman, just like Trump, and we didn't do nothing over here either. So what's going on?
the reason why we're not over there is because honestly, we're tired of war. Our soldiers have been fighting for way too many years.
I agree.
If you step back and just think how many years we were in Afghanistan and that little side road we took over there with Iraq, that's just too much war. And now we're just using equipment versus our people, and I think that's the right way to do it.
I think we're both in agreement on that.
Yeah,
I just see him for what he is. I mean, a madman doesn't care that he's losing. In his mind, he's still putting out the propaganda that he's winning.
Right.
There was another little guy that did that. Another little short guy that did that a long time ago. Following the exact same path that this little guy's following.
Yeah.
Doing the exact same thing that this little guy's doing.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna call his name out because he's too close to the one white guy that we had. Sorry, the Wahite guy that was giving out propaganda. That was. I'm gonna go back to
game, guys.
I'm gonna go back to my drink.
It's just all a game. Honestly, the powers that be, and call me crazy because I just came back off of vacation and got away from all this mess, and then I was able to step back and look at the madness that's going on. All they want to do is to keep us right here on this panel and everybody else in our own little pot stewing and being mad at one another while they're up there popping champagne bottles and doing things behind closed doors, making it an illusion that they're fighting one another so that we can fight when they're all on the same page. And that is where my issue is right now, because we as the public don't matter to them. They like to see us fight. And that's what they're doing. Division.
Yep.
Well, I tell you, I'm hopeful that this will all be resolved relatively quickly. And though I understand the depth of what they have accused her of and she has been convicted of, it is not. I think we all agree the punishment does not fit the crime, and she deserves to come home. So hopefully that is what, regardless of the reasoning as to why our government is doing what they're doing, hopefully it still results in the result that we're looking for, and that's her safe return.
When you say the punishment doesn't fit the crime, that's by our standards.
By our standards, right.
Which is why it's so difficult to think you go in those other countries like a Russia or like a China. Or like a Saudi Arabia, if you will,
or North Korea. You can pick a lot of places over there,
and think that you're going to be treated justly. Their rules are different.
And then they wait for an opportunity like this and be like, you know what? We might let her go, but now we got some cousins of Putin's cousins and maybe over here.
That's the point I'm trying to make to you when I say what I said earlier. You don't wait for the opportunities where you know if you respond the wrong way, it's going to create a bigger problem. You wait for the opportunities like this where you don't get a bigger problem. Well, your hostility earlier didn't say you understood.
Well, I mean, I'm still hostile, but carry on.
I love you guys so much. Y'all sound like us.
I mean, I'm just saying, because he might got John Wick over here in jail, and he's like, you know what? Now that we got Brittany, and y'all want her back, get my cousin Victor and my cousin Vladimir cousin and John Wick them over there in there over at Guantanamo Bay, and get them from down there and get them back over here in exchange.
Kyrie, I thought you were gonna get the first one tonight, but clearly it has to go to Mama Noel.
Damn. First of all, Lloyd, she has a head wrap on again. Did you?
I know that should have been my first indication that the night was gonna go in a very different direction.
Boy.
She's just warming up. We ain't even got to the good part yet. We just now get to the good part.
Hey, but she hasn't got the racist button yet, so she's still.
Well, that's progress. You're right. That's
progress. You haven't got the button yet.
Okay.
You got the what the hell? You got the goddamn. You just ain't got the racist yet.
Yeah. So we off to a good start, I guess.
I'm just saying, I never thought of it like that, but I appreciate you bringing that to light.
Okay. Well, listen, we are grateful to have the ladies here tonight because we do want to have a lively discussion about something we've been discussing for really, I guess, a week and a half now. And one word that got said this past Tuesday stuck out and not like it just kind of resonated and illuminated throughout the show. And that came from Al, who said, I don't want to feel needed. I want to feel wanted by a woman. And that kind of threw us off because we're like, well, what's the difference? Like want and need. And then Cuz came in and he kind of brought a philosophy of his thought process between the need that black women need black men and there was a difference between need and want. Hold on, Slappy, you gonna get a chance to clarify. I'm setting the stage.
Don't
Hush.
misquote me.
I'm not misquoting you. I'm quoting you very accurately. You had a difference of opinion than Al. That's all I'm trying to say. You can clarify what the difference was. I don't care about that part. I'm just setting the stage for the bigger conversation. Okay. So we thought we would build on that conversation. That's all I was trying to get to. Is that do black women need black men? And if so, is that need for the gentleman, the warrior, and the king? Or is there a greater need than what we think we are supposed to be for black women? So we thought we'd invite some black women to have this conversation because it's probably going to go better if we have more than one black woman. And clearly, Mama Noise is excited about that.
I mean, you got like at least 6 black women on here now. The way Mama Noise is acting, this is about 5 people.
So now, because if you want to jump in and bring the clarification of why you thought Al's want need comparison was a little bit I don't say off, but you had a difference of opinion of what he was thinking.
He was discussing it on a physical level. Women needing a man to do this, to do that. To provide this, to provide that, somebody to pay my bills, somebody to do this. That's not why black women need black men. The truth of the matter is, black women, with their education, with their business success, are achieving at a much higher level now than the average black man. So she doesn't need you to do that, but she does need you on a spiritual level. That none of that provides, and we actually need each other in order to build on their spiritual level, not the physical that he was talking about. That's the difference.
A spiritual level.
Question.
You didn't mention that Tuesday. Clarify that. I don't.
Yes, question, lady, ma'am. I'm sorry.
No question, lady. Don't ignore us. We the ones supposed to have.
Somebody said question. I heard. I just didn't see who said it.
I said it.
No, she said okay.
But actually, it was basically what Lloyd said. I just wanted to know, was it, or when you say need on a spiritual level, are you talking about that covering? If you could just elaborate on that.
We don't know what you're talking about. What she's trying to say. She's being nice. Patrice is nice. Clean that ish up.
When you connect with somebody spiritually, it's much deeper than the physical aspects of it. It's what you do for me internally and what I do for you internally.
Yes.
That matters the most. Our black women need to be built from the inside. They have money to pay their bills, and most of them can take care of their own babies now. But they need to be built to know who they are, because our black dads, dog, it went back to me. Our black dads didn't teach most of their daughters who they are. And at some point in a woman's life, she needs to be built up by a man in her life. At some point, a man needs to be built up by a woman in his life. So that deeper level, that deeper connection, that I got your back, regardless of who you are, regardless of what you've been through. I'm connecting with you on a much deeper level. If you lose your job tomorrow, and that's the physical part that most of us care about. If you lose your job tomorrow, I got you. I'm with you regardless, because we are connecting for a purpose, and that's to build together long term.
Okay.
In other words, it's really a ride or die type deal. It's just more than just ride or die. It's I care about you as a whole. And I want to build you to wherever you want to go, wherever you're supposed to be. That's where I want to see you.
So let's ask these ladies that are here tonight, do you agree with that? Do you agree that your man is helping to build who you are, or has helped to build who you are? Or does your man even understand that you are someone who may need this is a delicate conversation.
It's only delicate because society has made us fearful of saying it. Yes, a woman needs a man, but society has told us to be scared to say that now because of their level of independence. You don't want to offend nobody.
Agreed.
I agree with that.
So, okay, so let's start with that. Do you need to be built?
I'm going to speak from my own experience,
or whatever.
I'll speak to my experience. I was broken when I came into this relationship with my husband, and we just celebrated 29 marriage years. And I was very broken, and I didn't believe in love, and I didn't believe in myself, because everything that I had wanted for myself kind of got sidetracked with some of the things that had happened to me in my life. So my husband did do that for me. And I didn't ask for that. But he saw that he could be a partner for me. And in order for him to be a partner for me, he helped to lift my head up when my head was down. So, and I, in turn, do my very best to do the very same for him. We were going through something very, very tough in these last couple of years. And it was an outside external thing that we were going through, not us directly.
Right.
But one thing that we did, and it really touched my heart, is just last week, we just looked at each other in the eye and we're like, I couldn't have done this without you. And if I had to go through this by myself, I don't know if I could, but if I had to go through it, I'm glad that I went through it with you. So yes, we build each other up. And yes, that's spiritually and mentally, business, marriage, everything. But I think what happens is, like you said, society makes us think that you don't need no man. No, I'm sorry. I'm just one of these old school lovers that I have seen that in my hood where I had wonderful examples and I want that. So I work hard for that. And I understand that I don't need a man, but I do need him in many ways to be a complete person because God made it that way for me. We are our yin to our yang. Okay. There's a part of us that's our puzzle piece. He didn't just take us from his rib for no reason. We're walking side by side. And I am not afraid of a society telling me that I need to do this on my own. No. Because let me tell you something. When we posted, we had been married 29 years. I think we got the most likes on any post, 200 and something posts, because people want that in their lives and they understand that in their lives and they understand it's hard work. Because most of these people nowadays get married and the first fight they have, they divorcing. So I need my husband and I'm appreciative of my husband.
Question.
Why are you waving your finger? What are you doing?
Church finger, man.
Oh, yes, right. I forgot. It's been a while. It's been a while. I hadn't seen one in a while.
You said something. You said that I never asked my husband to be that for me. Was it because you didn't recognize you needed it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't. I knew that I was hurting, but and though you know when you're hurting, you know that you need to get out of it. But when someone else sees you hurting and they step in and they start with just the positive words, hey, good morning, beautiful. Don't be so sad. Let's go walk out in the sunshine and get some vitamin D. That's not a big thing, but that's his way of helping me heal. And when I see that in him, I do the same thing. So no, I didn't necessarily know that I needed that, but he did. And I just feel like that was a perfect plan for what was destined for us.
I want to answer Sean's question real quick. He said, "Are we building them or confirming them?" And I think my answer, and I think we would all agree, is the answer is yes. I don't know if I don't know if one can be done without the other. And I the one thing I definitely agree with Jay on is that we are afraid of the terminology because society has taught us to be. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not sure any of it can be done without any of it. Like, it is confirming. Sometimes it's building. Sometimes it's repairing. Because we mentioned this on the last show, because the other three dudes did so much damage, right? So it is repairing. And guess what? If you think the person that you are now getting with or marrying is it doesn't need to be fixed in some areas, and vice versa, you may need to be fixed in some areas because of the damage or perception. We got a noisemaker that comes on here all the time, and I guarantee you he needs to be repaired. And God bless the sister that's going to have the capacity and the patience and even the willingness to stand in there and take those blows to do it, because it's not going to be easy work because he's damaged. And we all gotta understand that societally we've been our own worst enemy for so long that when we can finally pair up with someone and that person sees not only who we are and what we've become, but can look beyond that and see who we have the potential to be, and is willing to stay in there and do the work. You know why people don't buy rehab homes? Because it takes a lot of work to get it back right. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of commitment. It takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of effort to take a rehab home that you bought for $5,000, and the bones of it look good, right? The bones look great. It has the potential to be something. But man, when you open the front door and you look at the hole in the floor and the hole in the roof, and the back door ain't on the hinges, and the electric wiring is hanging from everywhere, and you say, my God, and there's asbestos in the ceiling. I mean, you're going, Jesus, this gonna take some effort. Well, yeah, if you want the value of what it can be, it is going to take some effort. But you got to ask yourself, is it worth it?
But that's the greatest potential.
But that is the greatest
that home that's been through the storms, that has the hole in the floor and the hole in the roof and the mildew. That's the one with the greatest investment potential.
Yeah.
We as Black men are not willing to invest in our women, because the truth of the matter is a lot of them do need rehabbing because of the brokenness. Now, I know some of us don't like to say that we're broken, but the truth of the matter is most of us in the Black community, because of the absentee of fathers and mothers having to work 2 or 3 jobs, and their bitterness towards men, and the fact that a lot of our young Black women are abused physically, there's a lot of brokenness that goes on. And
because I'm gonna push back a little bit. I'm gonna push back just a little bit, not in the way that you might.
Don't push too hard.
Not in the way that you might think. So just hold on for a second.
All right.
I think the reason why we don't recognize that or are willing to go in and fix the rehab house, if you will, if we're using that scenario, is because we haven't done it for ourselves. We are raggedy in within ourselves, and we'll sit in this raggedy house, our own raggedy house, and not do anything and expect to get with some woman, and we want that house to be perfect and got an attitude when it ain't. But our stuff is raggedy.
But that's where discernment and prayer or whatever comes into. You have to have a woman who also understands that and is willing to uplift and be with you as well. So many of us have been told you need to be married, and so all they've been focusing on is this big old white dress that they're supposed to be walking down the aisle with, instead of focusing on what it really means and what really matters. That means that you are helping one another. It's a give and take. It's a give and take. But until we start teaching our children that, this is what it takes to be a couple or married or whatever it is that you want to be, and you want to be in a dedicated relationship, then it's not going to change. So we have to start at home. Once again, I feel like I'm always saying we have to start at home, but it's the truth. My mother told me when I was young, I was looking at all the beautiful dresses, and she actually said, you know what, honey? Here's what really matters. You can have the biggest wedding if you want to, but if you don't have the foundation right, your house is going to crumble. So when you have that first fight with your spouse, you need to set aside the reason that you're mad at him and really concentrate on the reason why you married him and fell in love with him in the first place. Then you build on that. And when you do that, then your foundation can become strong. And I took that to heart. I took that to, okay, if we have a fight, then I'm going to have to put that aside, be mad about it a little bit, but then I'm going to have to remember why I wanted to be with that person in the first place. And that has been absolutely what told me I'll never forget. And I always tell my nieces, my nephews, my everybody the same advice because it served me well.
I want to ask that question to Kenyatta and to Patrice and to Ron. Do you tell your children that they're probably going to get into a rehab? It's more likely you're going to be in a rehab project than you are going to get a foundationally built house. In other words, are we preparing our children for the reality that, or maybe at this point in Black society, the inevitability that you're going to probably be dating and maybe even potentially marrying someone with a plethora of issues?
I think it's one of those courageous conversations that we have to have. Have I had it? Yeah, in a sense. I have two kids and they're both different. So the conversation looks different depending on who I'm talking to. But yeah, I think it's important to, have them look at the signs, look at the red flags, look at the green flags, realize that no one's perfect, but also looking at the fact that, people have their experiences and you have to kind of decide, is that something, because I think that especially when we talk about dating in general, you should be dating with a purpose. You don't just be dating to be dating. So that's also another conversation that we've had as well.
I agree with what you just said, but I'm hesitant to nod real hard, so I'm kind of nodding softly.
No, I bet you and I are on the same page because well, go ahead.
Well, my fear with that is I agree with red flags, but red flags can be very deceiving. Because the truth of the matter is you can find a red flag in any and everybody you talk to.
Right.
And too many Negroes use that as an excuse. Otherwise lovely woman, but she did something wrong financially. So that red flag, I'm going to the next one. Wait, fool, wait, slow down. we do have to understand that we all have some red flags. Now, what is your bottom line red flag that you can't, live with? I think we all have that too. God knows I did, and I still have those. But many of the things that we throw people away for are really things that we can work together on.
You need to stop right there, because that was an interesting statement. Many of the things we throw people away for. Man. Because I'll full transparency. No father would like their daughter to pick up a rehab project.
Absolutely.
If we're being honest.
Absolutely.
I have never told my children to pick up a rehab project.
Absolutely.
I have told them to wait on the new build. Make sure it's as nice as it can possibly be. Now, that might be, oh man, this just got real. That might be flawed advice. Could be. Because the reality is, they might be waiting a long time. They might be waiting a long time.
I am grateful that I would consider myself a remodeling project. I needed Lloyd in my life, and I didn't know that I needed him. I hadn't seen what it is that he was wanting to give me. I have been fully transparent here. I come from a family where my dad was this incredible man, but he didn't raise me. He's got, when he was living, God rest his soul, he had 99 medals and accomplishments. And I mean, when he had his funeral, his accomplishments was covering. He has a couple of pages worth of accomplishments and things that he did. But I say all the time on this show, as much as the world celebrated my dad for his accomplishments, I needed to be the number one accomplishment. I needed his validation. I needed him to tell me who I am. I needed him to tell me, and I mentioned it to Azaria earlier today. I used it more softly than Mr. Uncorked Wine, but I said, I didn't have anybody installing my Pick a Ninja meter. My father's supposed to do that. He's supposed to tell me, Kenyatta, this is the type of man, this young man, the reason why, it's supposed to be given to me. It's supposed to be the wisdom that's passed down to me. So yes, I needed to be rebuilt. And I needed somebody who was willing to get in the foxhole. Somebody who was willing to say, I know she's broken. I know that. And that all my red flags weren't too much for you to pass on the opportunity to see what it's like when you do stay in the fight and you do help build from the inside, and then see what if you'd have just, ironically, we were talking about Dr. Miles Monroe today. And when me and Lloyd first went out, he let me listen to some tapes of Dr. Miles Monroe talking about, he said, all these guys want all this stuff in a woman. He's like, man, help her get there. He's like, you say, man, she be all right, but she way too much. He said, well, then go jogging with her. Help her out. Well, she be all right if she got her clothes together. Then go shopping, help her get to, it's like, put the work in. And I was like, wow. And then when he said this most profound statement that Dr. Monroe said to me, and I said, Lord, I don't know what you got to do, but I need to meet this man before I leave this earth. And I had the privilege to do so. He said, God will always give you the raw materials.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I am raw material. Now, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to build with it or not build with it? What are you going to do with that? And and to know that my husband was willing to get in there and walk me through, like Lala said, walk me outside. You know, it's simple stuff. Sometimes I think we stand back and look at it, as you guys said, a rebuild project and say, man, that's just too much. I ain't got that type of time. You don't know, it may not be too much.
But can I say something to what you just said? And first of all, I hear you tell this story often, and I think you give me far more credit than I deserve. I all I've tried to do is love you, and hopefully that has worked out well. But I want to say something to what you just said. You know, in school they got rid of shop class, so a lot of niggas don't know how to build. They don't know how to build nothing. And if there's nobody teaching you how to build, then you don't know what to do with the raw material. You just got it and you just holding it and you saying, well, what do I do with this? And that's why brothers keep fumbling with it. They keep messing it up. They think it's toys. It's actually building material and they keep thinking it's toys. So it's boys being handed manly material, but they're thinking it's toys. So they're just playing with it. And then when they get tired of playing with it, because they don't know what to do with it anyway, they toss it to the side because it no longer fulfills them. Because that's what you do with toys. When you're tired of playing with it, you just toss it to the side. And that's what we have right now. There's no shop classes. There's not enough shop teachers who are saying, no, man, that's a piece of wood, and that's a nail, and that's a screw, and that's a drill, and that's a this, that's a flathead, that's a Phillips. You use those things to build this. We don't have enough people doing that. So we got several generations of guys now walking around thinking they're just toys. Mm-hmm. And you can go get another toy whenever you want.
Wow.
Well, that's in part because of that garbage ass music y'all listen to.
But they've been doing that before the music came along.
Yeah, long before that.
I agree, but it's much worse now because our music used to call our ladies and girl and now they call them bitches and hoes. That's at a different level.
Well, you got the young ladies calling themselves that, so you already have that broken part.
That part.
I was going to say, well, what the music has done ultimately is made everybody think that this is just a world full of toys. So now we can just play with each other.
But the music brought it to light more.
Right.
Back in the day, it was hidden, and we covered it up with lady, woman.
Right. I think that's the best way.
Miss Beautiful. We covered it up. We hid it because we like to keep stuff hidden in the Black community. When shit's hidden, we don't say nothing about it. We don't like to speak on the bad stuff, so we hide it.
You're right. They made it smoother. It was smoother back in the day. Yeah.
So what we get now? That's
now it's just because it went on so long. It became, like we always talked about, became the norm now.
Well, it went from the subtle lie to just full on rage.
Yeah.
Now it's just rage. I just want to have sex with you. I don't want a commitment. I literally heard a song the other day. I am not joking. On the radio, I was on my way to the store, and I literally heard a song where the guy said, "I'm going to cheat on you." That was in the lyrics. I was like, "Wow!" So we forget. I'm gonna sneak around. He said, "I'm going to cheat on you and do you bad." I was like, "What the hell?" That's where we are now. We just go. We ain't even gonna try.
But this go back to your old songs. Clarence Thomas, Stroking, Barbara and Shirley. I mean, this the same stuff. Just said it. We made it sound good.
Well, but
Yeah,
and
well,
then women started combating it, saying, "I don't want no scrubs. Scrubs is the guy can't get
I
no love."
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Ron, that we've always had trash lyrics, but we also had a lot of love music that we don't have now.
That we don't have now. You are correct.
R&B,
Now,
R&B,
I
80s and 90s.
now I understand what she's saying when she says, and I'm sorry I said she. What is your name? I apologize.
Oh, we got to talk to production. The names are supposed to be on.
Lord.
I'm sorry.
You know what?
You want
Which one?
Patricia? You want Patricia or Lala? Which one you want?
Patrice.
Patricia.
There were
Patricia.
two people on the screen, man.
Patrice or
That
Lala?
got something to do with this nigga's old.
Not Patricia, y'all.
I'm sorry, Patrice.
Not
Patrice.
Patricia.
Patrice.
See.
He's just old. That's all that is.
You know,
Can't
she
remember
said
two names.
that it was covered up, and I don't disagree that our males had a level of disrespect for women back in the day. I agree with that. Women were often abused in relationships and cheated on and jumped on. So it was. You are correct. Some of that was going on. But a lot of stuff was hidden, and now it is so exposed to, they grow up with a level of disrespect. It's commonplace. Like you say, our women are calling themselves all the bad names. And when you don't respect yourself, when you put out, God damn it, when you put out a song talking about your WAP, then you really don't respect yourself. That's impossible. So we are putting it out on Front Street now. We're making it so commonplace until any level of respect that we once had is completely gone. We don't respect one another as blacks anymore as much as we used to.
But that song isn't designed to create respect. That song is designed to get you to the bag. Because the same woman that's putting the song out got a full-on husband.
Right. But that means that your value is between your legs and not up in your head.
No.
Your value is not your heart.
You missed what I'm saying.
Oh, I missed it?
Yeah, you missed it. The woman who put the song out is fully married.
Okay.
With a family.
Okay.
She is not telling you, she's not giving you the blueprint to what she did. She's telling you that your value is between your legs. She don't believe that.
Well, that's the point. That's what I was saying. I don't care what she believes.
No. Again,
Okay.
It's the same thing that Beyonce does. Beyonce will say, "Oh, ladies, take your power back," and this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, she gets her encouragement from her husband. My point is, music is selling you one thing, while the people behind the music are living an entirely different life. They believe what we believe. Because if she didn't believe it, she wouldn't have a husband. She'd be out here standing in the feminine power that she so proclaims on every song. My problem with that is, tell them how to get to where you are. Don't tell them that you don't need a man and you can do it by yourself and girl power. That's not what you're doing. You and Jay-Z together are billionaires.
Telling them how to get there doesn't sell your album.
That's the point that I'm making. So you're right in the sense that the music is eroding society, but you got to also see the trick of it all. The trick is, I'm living a very different life than what I'm singing about.
She's acting. It's all performance. It's just she's perpetrating. She's a pretender. But I'm just doing this for making music. But the truth is, I don't believe in none of that. I got writers in my bag.
But you know,
that's always been the case. I mean, Lionel Richie was talking about Lady, and he was cheating on every woman he's ever had. I mean, we all know that that's the case. That just because I sing about it doesn't mean I'm living it. But the problem is, you're putting it out to the masses, and the masses are living by it.
But that's the same thing as going back to the Princess wedding. It's the exact same thing, guys. I mean, we put these things out there like fairy tales, and everybody loves fairy tales, whether it's in music. I love a good love song like anybody else. I'll sit there and boo-hoo myself all the way through it and be happy. But and it's also the wedding dress. We teach these girls, this is, you need to be a princess walking down the aisle. Forget about the man who's standing up there waiting for you. We just need you to walk down the aisle. So it's all about illusions out here when it needs to be real, especially now more than anything. I mean, the world is upside down. And these young girls don't have, a lot of them don't have worth if we don't lift them up, and the young men either. Because you just told me, was somebody come out, he just gonna come out and tell you he's gonna cheat. Well, you know what? Oh Lord, I'm not ready for that. So we gotta stop with the illusions.
It's funny because Lloyd, earlier you asked, do we teach our daughters about rehab or look for the princess already out there?
Right.
The one thing growing up with my daughter, the one thing I always told her is I hated watching any Disney princess movie. Every time we watched one of them, as soon as it was over with, I said, this is bull. Everything that you see in here is bullshit. You ain't gonna walk around. You ain't gonna find Prince Charming out there skipping down the damn road, all happy, lovey-dovey, and come out there and do it. You ain't gonna find that. That shit is cartoon. That shit is entertainment. You ain't gonna see Prince Charming run in the house and slay the dragon. That shit don't exist anymore. You got to be ready to help build. You got to be ready to help find something out there that's going to get you where you need to get. Because brothers are not built like that anymore. Those brothers are gone.
But you know what? I mean, you make a valid point. You definitely make a valid point, and I think I agree with it to some extent. First things first, I think we're all kind of saying the same thing. We're just saying it in different ways. It goes back to what we're teaching, and so like you were talking about Beyonce and what she says. We have to be very careful because I think first of all, even Lala was saying this, and I agree, talking about, the stress and the princess and all of that. You got to, first of all, I think you got to be whole first. You got to be whole first. I'm not whole because of my husband. I'm whole because of me. I'm whole. Now, when we come together as one, then I think, that's what, makes a couple stronger. But
what does that mean? Be whole first. I don't understand that.
I can't be dependent on him for everything. That's number one. Like, let me give you an example. So, I came out of a bad relationship before I went into my marriage, and I think that I ended up in a trauma bond. So, because I wasn't whole. What happens is if we look at ourselves as not being whole first, what we're doing is we're setting ourselves up to be lost in our spouse. So you lose yourself. You can't lose yourself. How can you help anybody else and lift anybody else up if you've lost yourself? So like when we're talking about like, you were talking about like Beyonce, and yes, she lives one thing and she says another. I look at it like, yes, in a sense, but on the other hand, all the women that are single, she's trying to empower them the best that she knows how, and we have to be very careful because if we paint it a certain way, then that's all they're going to be looking for is that white dress. They're not looking for what comes after. So the marriage or the wedding is one thing. The marriage is where the work happens. And we lose sight of that. So
I'm going to push back a little bit.
Okay.
Because
a little bit.
I don't know any woman that I've ever met prior to my wife or even after my wife that was whole in and of themselves. I think wholeness is a perpetual process. And you can spend a lifetime trying to fill in and make up for and correct and evolve and all the words you want to use to getting to what we call wholeness. Because I think well, this is going to sound weird. There's an illusion that we're chasing in thinking that wholeness and perfection are synonymous with one another, and they're not. The perfection or the thing that we're chasing is not perfection, but rather it is finding that peace and finding that something within us that says I'm comfortable in my own skin. And I think we're trying to fix so many issues, and we think we got to come to the marriage with all of the issues fixed. When the truth of the matter is, you may not be equipped with all the answers, and that's okay. Because maybe the reason why God has brought you this man is to help you with the stuff that you're. Yeah, listen, the Bible says that the strong bears the infirmities of the weak. So what to take that from the Bible and bring it to another place, sometimes God wants to bring you somebody that can be the strength you need when you can't be strong. And that's okay. And it's okay to trust that. It's okay to be comfortable with saying, I'm not equipped to be strong in this particular area. But
so question that, you know, I hate when you guys go to that whole spiritual thing. I try to stay out of those conversations.
You don't have to hate it, Ron. That seems a little aggressive.
But I think the wholeness to me is understanding what your flaws are, taking accountability for those flaws, going into their relationship knowing you have these flaws, and you want to work with that person to help you get through those flaws and build you to where you need to be. I think I consider that to be wholeness. Like if I didn't know how to do something, and I'm not good at it, but I'm gonna find a partner who's willing to teach me to help me get better at it, or if they took that over from me, that's a wholeness to me because I recognize where I'm not strong at. I recognize what my problems are, and I went into that relationship knowing, hey, I need to work on these things to get us to be the perfect couple. Just like she came in saying, hey, I know what my issues are. I've reconciled as many of them I can, but I have these ones left that I need help reconciling. To me, that's going in with wholeness because you're never going to hit perfection. Perfection is not attainable. It's an unrealistic goal.
Right.
You can build to try to get to perfection, but you're not going to hit because you're chasing an imaginary dream. But I think wholeness to me is you have to go in knowing your flaws, knowing where your problems are, and what you're willing to work on and what you're willing to get help on to get to where you need to be.
Right.
I sorted the foundation, but I need help building the walls. I need help putting the door in. I need help putting a roof on the top of it.
And Ron, being okay to say I need help.
Yes.
Like being okay with that. That's okay to say I don't know how to put a door on.
Exactly.
Everybody's not equipped with everything.
Right. It's okay to go into your relationships, baby. I don't know how to do this to make
I suck at this particular area of my life.
Right.
Yeah.
I understand what my trauma is. Here's the walls that you're going to have to build. You want to fight to get through. Having that awareness goes a long way in your relationship.
Is that what you meant, Patrice, or no? We were way off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, it's you're not going to be perfect. There's no way. No one's perfect.
Right.
We haven't arrived. Otherwise, why are we still here?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're never going to achieve perfection. And honestly, I don't think we should ever strive for perfection. Maybe excellence. Do your best to work towards being excellent in what you do, but you'll never achieve perfection because we can always find something. But yeah, that's what I mean when I say being whole. I think that sometimes, and I love the way Kenyatta said, instead of rehab, she used rebuild. And I love that. Rehab to me sometimes, it's not a shameful thing, but it's like when you look at rehab, it's a mess. And you know what? I think we've all had a time where we've all been a mess. I'll be quite honest. I'm in a transition stage myself. So I feel like I'm a mess some days. And some days I feel like I'm brand new. That's just human, right? That's me being human. So I look at it like when I say that I'm whole, I know who I am. I think that as a wife and a mother, a lot of times we lose who we are. And perhaps maybe husbands do that too. But um, I'll use an example. So interesting. I saw this post on Facebook the other day, and this guy, he had a picture of Taraji, and it's when she was in her beautiful state. And on the other side, so on that side, it said what you look like after a breakup, and on the other side, she's got this little baby fro, and she looks rough, right? Because it was one of those roles that she was playing, and it says what you look like when you're together. And I said, well, a lot of times they say that what the woman looks like, that's a reflection of the man.
I think that, and what's funny about that comparison? I've seen those videos or those pictures as well, where somebody will say they'll take the pretty picture, say this is one version of them, and this is the reality version of them. The truth of the matter is, it's the same person. The problem is we don't have the capacity to understand that. We think, oh, she changed on me. No, she's the same person. It's your responsibility to figure out how to bring all of it out. And be okay with all of it.
It's a part of growing together too. When you're 20, you're 20. In hindsight, you go, oh my God, I was 20. But it's a different thing when you're 52 and you've both been through this experience together. It's so funny. Not that I knock anybody getting married to a younger person, but it was funny because we had this conversation like, can you imagine marrying someone who didn't experience the same things that you did? What would you talk about?
Yeah, we should at least seen the same cartoon.
So that's a very important aspect, is being able to live and grow through this together and learn how you can uplift one another without losing yourself.
That part too. Without losing yourself, because that's what happens a lot of times. You lose yourself. You're so wrapped up in making sure that the kids have what they need, and that you're being perhaps maybe the best wife you can be. And along the way, well, who's Patrice? I don't know. I got to stop and figure it out.
Because did you in helping your wife build? Did you lose yourself? I'm curious. I hear these women say you can lose yourself. Did you and Ron lose yourself in route?
I don't think y'all do.
That's a very
honest.
Hell,
That's my opinion.
I'm still lost. I have no freaking clue which way I'm going.
No, I don't think he said where y'all going. He said where you're going.
That's what he's saying.
He said you don't know where you're going, Ron?
Still lost. I'm learning every day. Because you should be learning every day. I learn every day.
But are you lost?
No, I ask for directions on occasions. I will ask for directions. If I'm going the wrong way, I ask, hey, please.
So you're not opposed to that spiritual stuff. You just deal with different.
I'm opposed to cousin spiritual stuff.
No, listen to me.
No, I don't have a problem asking.
He's your pastor?
Yeah, it was not yesterday. Not yesterday. No, Tuesday. Now, I think you can be lost. You just can't be scared to ask for directions when you get lost. Your partner's got to be able to see that you're lost and try to bring you back to the path. Because, like I said, there's stuff that come up, man, that you just get lost in the day-to-day, the same repetitive stuff over and over again, and you do lose vision at sometimes where you'll get lost. But you got to have a person that's willing to see that you're going in the wrong direction, smack you in your head, tell your ass get back on the right road, get back on the right path. Or you got to sit down and say, hey, what's going on? I'm doing something wrong. What's happening? And they got to be willing to want to help you. If you don't got a partner that can do that, then you're pretty much done.
This is a serious matter. I hear, wasn't it Emmett Smith's wife said she lost herself, and a couple of other women's celebrity wives were like they lost themselves and they needed to leave their spouse so they could find themselves.
Because went off.
And I was like,
he went.
I mean, I had a young lady that was we used to pray together, and she blew my mind when she said, I'm getting a divorce. And I said, oh, okay. I said, what? I'm listening. And she was like, cause I need to spend more time with God and I ain't got time for his foolishness. I was like, what? Wait a minute. But I didn't judge or anything like that. I'm just listening. But she was like, I need to find myself, and I'm through trying to something. It was, I mean, it blew my mind. She said she wanted to spend more time with God, and I was like, can't you spend time with God with your husband, or is he that much trouble to?
I'm shocked because I thought you was with God all the time. Every day you wake up, you with God. So
Well, I did too, but I mean, I don't know.
Missing?
Well, this is a perfect example of getting in your own way. You
Bingo.
get so wrapped up in your own ego that you're putting the things that God has put into place for your life to the side, or forgetting about them and feeling like everything is centered around you. It is not centered around you. I don't even care if you're single. The world is still not centered around you. You are still supposed to be a light unto someone else. That's our blueprint. Be a light.
I think that's partially true, but the other part of it is that we don't live with her, so we don't know what that foolishness looks like.
True.
And I think we have to keep that in mind, because I think what happens is a lot of times we get so religious, we forget about relationship. And then we look at it like,
I really like that one.
you look at it like, well, you could have fixed this, you could have fixed that, but we really don't know, because we're not within those four walls. So we don't know what's happening. At some point, when you say, to me, when I hear that, she's got to spend more time with God, there's got to be something. There's got to be something that she's not saying.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big part is,
Yeah.
what is it that she's not saying,
Mm-hmm.
and why? Because she's not going to just go and just do that. Like you said, I mean, you look at what, it says in the Bible, and he doesn't like that. God doesn't like that. But what's going on? There's something bigger. She's just not sharing it.
We gotta let Cuz in because he'll forget what he's thinking if we don't let him in now. I'm telling the truth. Stop looking around like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I wasn't thinking anything.
Come on, man.
What do you want me to say? What was your
Whatever it is that you're thinking right now. I know you.
Do you see those eyebrows furrow a little bit?
That's because I'm getting older.
No, you're not. You're old.
Yeah,
You're already there.
They're getting longer and longer. It's like, what the heck? Clip them things.
No, I said furrow.
I think Mama Noah said, did I lose myself?
I asked that question.
Hell no. I'm a little different.
We know.
I don't give a damn about myself. I care about my family. I would deny myself to the day I die, as long as I'm building. I have long-term aspirations for the whole, not for self. So I don't get wrapped up into that self-care that some people say they need. Self-care? No. Even my wife every now and then would try to provide me a little extra self-care. You know what I'm saying?
Wrong kind of self-care.
You know what I'm
Wrong.
saying?
I feel
We
like
have company. We have company.
It doesn't take all that from me. It's not about me. I've tried my best in life to not make it about me. I do my best. The more I use the word I and me, I find my own self cringing, because it's not about me. If I made it about me, then when I'm dead and gone, laying in my grave, facing my Lord above, then it's all over, because it was about me. But if it was about what I did for others and what I gave to others, then it lives on. It continues in the lives of others. So I don't focus on me. I deny myself a whole lot. Now, the truth of the matter is, all men, I say men, I didn't say males. I didn't say 50-year-olds or 60. I said men. That's a mentality. All men deny themselves for their whole. There are things that we would want to have that if we didn't have the whole, we would actually have it. But we deny ourselves those things.
I think
you have to think about that. You have to think about that. What am I denying myself that I could have, but I don't have because my family needs to eat, my family needs clothes, my wife needs this. We're always denying ourselves something. Now, I sometimes look at some men and they still have all the toys. I don't know how they do all that.
But
I
think
don't get
Lloyd's,
that.
because I think the question was probably a little more deeper about self than the material aspect of self.
Right.
Because yes, I can say the 3 guys on this screen and probably 15 other guys I know, we don't want shit. I don't want nothing. My kids eat first. My wife eats first. My kids get the stuff they need. My wife gets the stuff they need. I'll pay these damn bills and I'll be broke for the rest of the damn month. That's reality. But there is self-care that you're going to do, even though you may not think it's self-care, but it's self-care that you're going to do for yourself. You're going to try to maintain your health for the longevity of being there for your family.
Right.
If physical health, I agree with that.
That's part of self. You're gonna learn more to make it better.
You do that all the time. You do that all
And
the time.
mental health.
That's still part of self. Even though it's for the whole, it's still part of yourself, because you have to do those things to have the longevity.
How do you lose yourself by doing for others mentally?
Because you could get wrapped up into a situation.
Well, you can get wrapped up, but why would
you lose focus? You get stuck on a certain task.
But why would you get so wrapped up? Why would you do that to yourself?
Can I say something?
Because you're looking at a bigger picture, and you got so stuck on that one thing that there's other things behind you that are probably more important. But you got so focused on this one thing that you lost yourself into that one singular direction that took all your focus, and other shit behind you is burning down.
Let the young lady in the top right corner over there.
Patrice.
I'm sorry. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna forget. I'm like, cousin, I'm gonna forget.
You are not that old. No.
Okay, so he is exactly right when he says that we have some form of self-care. First of all, I'm a big advocate for self-care, because here's the thing: if I don't take care of myself, and I used to feel so guilty, even doing something so simple as going to get a pedicure. But I realized that if I don't take care of myself, it's never about me. But if I don't take care of myself, how am I going to be able to take care of anybody else? How? That's why self-care is important. And it is focusing on others when you take care of yourself. It's not about being selfish. It's not about looking at myself. I think it's about, you do for others. Like for me personally, I love to do for other people. I love to bless people. I love to support people. I love to lift people up. I love to encourage people. I love to see people. If I can pick you up and carry you and pack you, I'm going to do it because I want to see you succeed. But it all starts with self-care. How can I sit there and tell myself or tell you, take care of yourself, and I'm not doing it? Now I'm a hypocrite. So
see, I think that's where the burnout comes, because when you don't have a spouse that recognizes that in you, when you don't have a spouse that says, you know what, honey, let's take the weekend, because he or she should know how you're burning the candle at both ends in order to do for the whole. So you are correct. You can burn yourself out, but that's why a partner, a lover, a husband, a wife is so vital in your life, because they are looking at the whole of you. They care for you. So that's why we as men will say, honey, let's go out to eat tonight. Let's do something. Let's because we are trying to make sure that you don't burn out. Honey, let me take care of breakfast tomorrow morning. Let me take care of dinner. Whatever the case may be. That's in an effort to make sure that you don't reach
But
that.
I think the challenge of that is this, and I want to go back to our analogy that we've been using all night because I think it applies here. You're assuming because that is a builder. A builder is doing that because a builder is always walking around. Once you think you've gotten the house to a good place and you've done a lot of repairs, now you're saying, okay, I want to make sure there's no leaks. I want to make sure the floor is right. I want to make sure, and you're watching it and you're paying attention to it all the time because you want a beautiful home. That's what a builder does. A boy doesn't do that. Remember, you said men do that.
Totally agree.
Boys don't do that. Boys are saying this is a toy. I don't care if it breaks. I'll buy another.
Totally
and agree. So that's why women feel like I gotta take care of myself. If I don't take care of me, who's gonna take care of me?
Nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is doing it.
Right. So that's when you get trapped into that mentality of I gotta take care of myself. But if we're both watching each other and we both got our hammer and nails and stuff, and we're looking, one of the things that I think my wife has done a phenomenal job, especially as she's learned to do it, because she was never taught to do it, but over the years she's gotten really good at it. She'll see the fatigue. She'll see the overwhelmness. She'll see okay, let me wrap my arms around him. Let me give him, let me serve him. Let me do these things that lift him up because I need him to be at his full capacity. I don't need him falling apart on me down here. And so you see it in each other. She's not okay. Let me do this. Let me do that. You start to pay attention to the whole because you're building something together. The moment when one spouse stops looking to build the other, you got a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
You got a real problem.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say that I think that when Patrice said what she said, it made me think of that analogy, Lloyd, that you always give about the instructions that a stewardess gives us on an airplane.
That's what I was going to say.
When she says, listen, I know you got kids. I know you got your husband. Listen here. Even with small children, you better put that mask on first. You can't help nobody if you up there gasping for air and stuff. You talking about here, let me get your stuff straight while you over there inhaling whatever, or you losing oxygen, and you lose consciousness, then you can't help nobody.
That's
but
right.
First things first, put that mask on yourself first. Then you can help others.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
That's funny because
to be clear,
that's self-care.
Yes, exactly. It's self-care. And to be clear, for me, helping others actually recharges me.
Yeah.
Rejuvenates me.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling down, I mean, not that I'll do it then, particularly because I do it all the time, but if I'm feeling down, for me to be able to do something good for someone else actually refuels me. It doesn't burn me out.
But you know what? And again, just a slight pushback because of the love I have for all of you people on the screen. It does until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Because we all hit a wall. We all can hit a wall. We all get tired. We all get overwhelmed. We all get moments where we just need a break. Not saying that's our lifestyle, that we're selfish by nature, but at some point you serve and you serve and you serve and you give, and then you need a moment to step back and go, okay, like he had said, hold on, let me grab it.
Balance.
And that balance,
right?
and that moment you can say what you want to call it. You're taking it for yourself to rejuvenate yourself, to get your mind and body back to where it needs to be.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a long moment. I'm not saying it lasts for days or weeks or months or even years. It's just But
I also want Cuz to know that when, in my opinion, of what Patrice is saying, is it what she's saying is she ain't saying, well, I need to take a sabbatical.
But that's what some women are doing now. They're leaving their life because they feel like they got to perform self-care.
Some are.
But I would imagine those women that are leaving that life was with a do nothing nigga in the first place, and they were trying to make that situation work. They were trying to make it work
in the name of. I agree with that, but they're still
doing it in the name
of self-care, and that causes confusion because now it's no longer self-care; it's moved to selfish. or maybe that's their survival. I don't know.
Or self-preservation.
Self-care,
Self-preservation.
self-preservation, not the
Yeah.
same. Selfishness, not
Saying
necessarily.
that's a difference.
Yeah.
And the thing that keeps coming to my mind is always the iron sharpens iron. Okay. When I'm dull, my partner sharpens me. When he's dull, I sharpen him. And we understand when, hey, you know what, Lala, I need to go have a half a day fishing. I'm going to go do that. Not can I go do it? I'm going to do that. Okay, husband, you go do what you need to do. But with that comes with maturity. Because
Right.
in the 20s, you're like, why you don't want to be without me? Let's be honest. It comes with maturity. It's
True.
something that you grow into, but you have to allow yourself to grow into. So yeah, it's okay to be dull sometimes where you have to go and get yourself together, but just know that you'll be sharpened again by your partner. That's what we should be looking for, I believe.
Because of the number of single parent homes that we have in the Black community, self-care to me has taken on a totally different look with our single moms, because they don't have anyone to give them that break. Used to be
Yeah.
Big Mama. Big Mama could give them that break, and aunts that were in the neighborhood can give them that break. But now they don't get the break. So their self-care is damn near at the end of their rope, their breaking point.
But that's
Because
because we
no
lost.
one has relieved them.
But that's because we lost family.
Right.
It's we literally, as a Black community, we have lost family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Back when we was growing up, there was family. You could walk out to a neighborhood any time of the night when we was growing up. Everybody was on the porch. Big mama was on the porch. Auntie that was on the porch. Brothers and cousins in the backyard playing cards, or the card table on the side. You had the grill on the front porch. You walk
And
through a
don't do
neighborhood
nothing
now.
wrong because you was gonna get spanked all the way down the road.
You walk through a neighborhood now. There is nobody on the porch.
Well, it's not safe to be on the porch.
Well, it ain't safe to be on the porch. And furthermore, everybody ain't gonna let you say nothing about their child. Now, if I'm over on 23rd, 23rd and Wyandotte
Don't
or
say
whatever,
no
I'm just saying, if I'm hush, Carrie. If I'm over on off Wyandotte somewhere, I know that ain't where I'm supposed to be at. But then Miss Mabel gonna call my grandmother and say, I seen Bambi over here off Wyandotte. And then my grandmother, she's supposed to be down the street and stuff. So they felt comfortable calling and even had the number in the first place to even do that. Now, listen, in education, my years in education, man, you can't tell these parents nothing about these kids. You try to tell them, listen, your son, Devontae, is over here cutting the fool, and I can't get him to follow no instructions. Well, he belonged to you once he gets dropped off. What in the world just happened? So you trying to say he's my son during the time he's at school and he's not yours? And I'm trying to get your help, and you trying to tell me that's not your problem? And I'm saying it dramatically, just like that. It's not my problem. Y'all need it. You need it. And it's like, wait a minute. Why are you coming for me? I'm trying to help you with what apparently you're not doing at home, which is whooping his tail. So now he has zero respect for authority. And then when something happens out in the street, you ready to go call Black Lives Matter. Oh, I'm sorry. Listen, you ready to rally up the troops and say that there, somebody do something.
Yeah.
We say it all the time on this.
You went. Stop. You went too damn far.
No, I said what I said. We started it at the house. And if you didn't whoop his tail at the house, then you sit up and wonder what's going to happen. The streets is going to whoop him one way or another.
Yep.
I knew that headband was going to come back eventually.
You know what, Lord?
That's why there's a lot of people that are actually leaving the profession. So why a lot of them are leaving the profession.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The kids are disrespectful. I love the kids. Don't get me wrong. I've been in education too. I love the babies. But sometimes it's difficult to deal with the parents. It's difficult. And then it's like they don't sometimes, and it's not always the case, because sometimes you have amazing parents. And sometimes you have some that's just like literally I had one child threw another child off the bus. Literally threw her off the bus. Thank God there was a teacher there to catch her. And the woman, the mother, I should say, she sat there on the phone and she's like, "This is inconvenience for me. Why do I have to come pick up my child?" So we sat there in awkward silence.
And I
You
think,
can't
like I
get on the
said,
bus. I don't know what you're gonna do. I don't know what to tell you.
yeah. And Lala kind of said it in the background. I don't think everybody heard her, but we lost the concept of village.
Yep, absolutely. Hmm.
And look at when village left, and look at how the Black community went once we lost the concept of village.
It went with it.
Even in the village, we had single parent homes. We had a lot of the same stuff we had now, but when the village went away and all that kind of went away, the respect went away. The kids started doing kind of what they wanted to do. The way people were raising their kids and teaching their kids all changed. And ever since then, the Black community has went the wrong direction. Ever since the village went away.
It went away because I've been trying to help some of these parents. I try to resist the parenting in me. It's hard for me to do because I'll be like, let me help you. The child say, "I don't have to listen," and you know what? The children sound just like the parents. I don't have to because I don't like her. I said, "Look here, Ahmad. Let me tell you something. You ain't gotta like the teacher."
What's the boy's name?
You know what? You can't.
They don't know why I'm talking about.
That was racist.
I said, "Listen here, boy. You ain't gotta like the teacher. You ain't gotta like her. You're not here to like her. You're here to learn. So I need you to button it up, sit your behind in his seat, and listen to what she got to say. And if you that bad, you got it all figured out, then ace the test. Do well. Show us that you got it all. You got it all figured out." But they be talking about, I don't have to.
Breathe. There's no breathing going on.
I would say this. I would say this, that those teachers at that place, at that moment, that's a byproduct of what's going on in the home. And a lot of the homes are a impossible situation.
Impossible or improbable?
Impossible. It's impossible for them to win at home because of their situation. Mothers are doing the best they can with 2, 3, 4 kids. And it's just...
What are we doing?
It's not easy.
The kids go to school. I'm not making up excuses for them. I'm not making up excuses for them. I'm simply saying when kids go to school, sometimes that is a relief for them because they're at home losing on a daily basis. That's hard. So we can't fix it at the school level. We have to fix it back at home. That's back to what Lala said earlier. It all starts in the home. If the home is broken, the home is going to produce brokenness. You guys are just receiving the brokenness in the schoolhouse. Eventually, they're going to receive the brokenness on the streets. Eventually, somebody's going to marry that brokenness, and it continues, but it starts in the home.
Yeah, I don't know if it's impossible though. I think it's
Michael Jackson had a song. Michael Jackson had a song say "You can't win."
Well, Michael Jackson also had a whole bunch of other songs. Michael Jackson also had a whole bunch of songs we can talk about, but that's a whole different story.
but this one applies. You can't win. You can't break. It's impossible for some of these people to win.
It may be impossible for some people, but it's not impossible for all people because there are people.
No, I'm not saying all.
But there are people who are making it that's coming out of that.
You know he hates all.
Nobody said all.
I just said I hate when we say it's impossible because it's not impossible. There's a possibility to do it. It's never impossible.
But you have to have that mind ready for that shift.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And not everybody can break that chain. See, that's an individual thing. Okay. You can grow up in the same environment, a brother and a sister. Okay. I'll give my family an example. Alcoholism in my family. My father was an alcoholic. 2 of the siblings have that gene, and 2 of us go, So it's all about what we did or we didn't want in our life, and we wanted better for that. Not that we don't empathize with the ones who did go down that road, but
Right.
for me, that was not an option. I wanted more. So that is a personal choice. See, if you make that personal choice, then all of a sudden you see that brokenness and you go, maybe I should get my family some therapy.
There you
Maybe
go.
we should start doing some things a little different around here. But that's here, and that's not everybody who's strong enough to do that yet.
Right.
in
And
their
that's why I
life.
said it's possible for them to do it. They, like you said, they have to fix self. They have to take responsibility, some accountability, and make that conscious decision to want to get out of that. And then some people can't. Some people
Right.
would never make that decision. They're comfortable in that misery. Some people do get comfortable in that misery.
Let me tell you something that I was trying to help Zaria to see earlier today. I know that it's a left turn, but follow me. I'm going somewhere.
Lord, get
Listen.
the button ready.
No,
I'm ready.
no, it's not. No, listen. I told Azaria, one of the reasons why I like the Seattle Seahawks is one of my favorite teams is because they have some firsts. They have the first black player that's deaf on their team. They have the first player that he's got one hand and then he kind of has a nub on the other. It's that. And I said the difference in the Shaquem and Shaquille, if I'm saying it right, Griffith, is their father was in their lives. And when they were, I think they're twins. And he said, now you can make a decision because I loved seeing the whole backstory. He said, you can make a decision to say, you know what, I'm handicapped is the reason why I can't go into the NFL, or you can show them why you are supposed to be in the NFL.
Right.
And I said, Azari, look at that. Because she saw a baby and had the baby just had one hand and the other one, they didn't have a full hand. And she was like, oh, I said, let me show you what happened to the Griffith brothers. And she was like, wow, he made it all the way to the NFL. And then there's another player in soccer, this professional soccer player that has the same thing. I said, these particular people could have said, my right, Justice Rain Killebrew could have said, I am experiencing, I'm autistic, and because the world has said this and that what I can't do, then I'm not even gonna give it a try. But I said, look at, as Ron said, the probability.
Mm-hmm.
I know it should have been impossible for him. Larika will tell you whenever she gets a chance to testify, she will tell you it was supposed to be impossible. The Griffith was impossible. Coleman, the first deaf African-American football player in the NFL, should have been impossible. What, you deaf, you can't hear? And when you see the commercial that he's in about batteries and stuff, he tell you he was talked cash crazy to his whole life because they was like, well, you can't hear. How you gonna try to go out for football and you can't even hear? I'm talking about he's there. And it just simply help me to see and help her to see that you can sit there and say, my circumstances, my environment, I'm a product of my environment. There's no way the white man, daddy wasn't there and all that stuff. And then let that be your reason for not being successful. Or like Lala said, you can make a decision that I know what, that's not going to be my story. I'm going to be the exception to the rule.
So okay. So I'm going to use your example by asking Lala this question. And y'all can't call her Lala, by the way. We can. Y'all can't.
We've been doing it all show, bro. You late.
No, y'all. No, I'm talking about people outside the screen.
What is happening?
I'm talking about, because folks will get familiar, like they know y'all.
Nope.
They don't know. We call them Lala because we built a relationship. Okay.
This guy.
What made you decide not to follow the path of alcoholism?
I saw the defeatness in what that was with my father. My father was not a fall down alcoholic. He was a functioning alcoholic. But when he got to a certain point, I could see his body breaking down. I could see his mental breaking down. I could see the fact that he was laid off from Ford for many, many, many years. And when that was taken from him, I saw his brokenness with that. And I just didn't want that crutch when I knew it was a false crutch. I wanted to be able to face the things with a clear mind. And to me, having a clear mind meant I wasn't doing the smoking, I wasn't singing. And then I also had this wild dream of that I still pursue today of dreaming, of singing. And I knew my voice would change if I did either one of those things, smoke or drink. So I chose not to. That was my personal decision and my dreams.
And so, Mama Noise, what you said and what Lala just said is the point that I wanted to make. A lot of, because I think that's what Cuz was trying to say. I don't think he's saying it's impossible in the sense of it can't be done. I think he's saying, if correct me if I'm wrong, Cuz, I think he's saying it's impossible in the sense that if nothing interrupts that journey, you won't get there. Something has to interrupt that thought process and make you say, I don't want this life. And for a lot of our brothers and sisters and a lot of our single mothers, nothing ever does. Or they never recognize that it does. In other words, they don't see that this is not that this is only an improbable situation, not an impossible one. You've got to want to see it. And a lot of them don't ever see it, which is why we are where we are, which is why they turn to the most negative aspects of success and say, well, it is improbable because I can shake my ass and I can get on the Instagram and I can take my clothes off and I can fight my way out of it this way. When the truth of the matter is that's not the best way to do it. There are other ways to do it. You know, the irony of all of what is taking place right now in our society is that we have perpetuated success as being synonymous with escape.
Oh,
dangerous.
Oh,
that's dangerous.
Yes,
because success is not escape,
yes.
or at least it shouldn't be. Success means more than that. It means it should mean that you are not only touching your situation, but like Cuz says, and like we've all said tonight, you're touching the lives of others. But we don't see it that way. We see it as, I escaped the barrel. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
You never.
That's
So many
dangerous.
people don't
I
want to
got a
turn
quick
around and
question.
extend that hand to lift up someone else.
Right,
You know?
right.
I got mine. You get yours. And I think for all of us here on this panel don't feel that way. I see that in all of our spirits, that we do want to turn around and help support and bring someone else up to par if we see that they want it. You just don't bring them for them just to do the success. But if you see that spark in someone and they need your help, you turn your butt right on around and you pull them on up with you.
You give them the blueprint. Yeah.
Right. I think also, I completely agree with you, Lala. I think the other thing that's important to notice, sometimes we don't realize it, but we look at things a little too judgmental. And that's a big problem, because how can you help somebody if you're looking down on them? You can be reaching down to pull them up, but you should be like looking like this, you know what I'm saying, as you're lifting them instead of just looking down. I think that's a big problem, because we talk about escape. What are they escaping?
Yeah, I think judgmental comes from the our judgmental spirit comes from our inability to remember what it was like to be down there in the first place.
Yep.
Like, you were there
Mhm.
and you fought your way up. So why would you forget that there's a fight up? Like,
Right.
you remember what it was like to not have oxygen? You remember what it was like to have to hold your breath?
Exactly. Because it's not just the single moms, because you got some single moms, they are phenomenal. They're all doing the best that they can. Most of them are doing the best that they can. But maybe they tried it, it didn't work for them. Maybe they were in a relationship, they tried, it didn't work for them. Perhaps maybe they became a widow, or the man left. but what they're doing is working. You know what I'm saying? So we get this idea that we need to paint the picture for you of what you want and what you need. And I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but that is what I think. And
I sent a video. I sent a video to the crew today. I don't know if they got a chance to watch it, but there's a comedian by the name of Jess Hilarious. Some of you may have known who she is or may not know who she is. Very talented young lady. She is. I was not as familiar with her story or her journey until I saw the video that I sent out today. She's 29. And at age 29, she's already been in a relationship. She's already got a baby daddy. She's already been publicly humiliated in a relationship. And is in a current relationship where the dude literally said on national television, "I'm not in love with you." And she's in that relationship. Now, it unfolded later why the reasons why he said it, because he's going through his own trauma and he's probably not equipped to be in that relationship right now. He probably should not be in a relationship with anybody right now. But that's the circumstances that she finds herself in. So right now, assuming that relationship probably won't work out, she's already 4 relationships behind. And you say, well, hold on, I only heard you say 3. Well, clearly something is wrong with her father because he didn't prepare her for the other 3 relationships. You see what I'm saying? So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about somebody who has already been damaged 4 times. Imagine throwing a priceless vase in the air 4 times and watching it crack on the ground 4 different times. How difficult would it be to put that vase back together again? It'd be damn near impossible. Mm-hmm. But that's what we're talking about. We're damaging hearts like this on both sides of the spectrum, men and women. And then we're saying, okay, well, good luck trying to fix it.
I totally agree with that. But I also do feel a lot of the times our judgments upon other people is something we also have to look upon ourselves in. There's something broken within us where we're judging others. And sometimes you have to self-reflect on that. Why am I judging that person? What is it in me that is making me feel holier than thou? Is there something that I need to look at within myself?
Oh, yes.
You muted, Mama Noise. Can't nobody hear what you're saying.
I agree with Lala, and I was going to also co-sign what Patrice was saying, is that I was just having this conversation. It's ironic, all of this. I was having this conversation with Azaria earlier, and I just simply said, I just realized something. I just realized that in the church, a lot of times we have the single people serving the married people. Like, in other words, you're not at our level yet. So when you get to our level, then you can, it's we on the same level. But right now, as long as you're single, you the one that's gonna be at when we have the banquets, when we have the teas, when we have the conferences and stuff. The single people are the ones who's in the service ministry that's going around bringing trays and plates and making plates and all that type of stuff. Why can't married people? I didn't notice that until today. I was like, there were no married people that were serving. It was all single, or in the nursery ministry. It was all single people. Like your punishment for being a single mother, or your punishment for being a single person is watch the babies and then serve us at the table. Oh, you married now? Well, if you married now, come on, sit at the table now, because you married now, so you're a part of the club. And I said, man, I did not realize that till today.
So you went from a peasant. You went from a peasant to royalty once you got married.
Just because.
Yeah, why not be the example and embrace them and show them? Be the example, be the light.
We treat all perceived broken people that way, not just single people, all perceived broken people that way. If we don't think you are our version of whole, we ostracize you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just think how that makes the people feel who's getting that, and I'm gonna call it abuse, who's getting that mental abuse, that you're not worthy because you had a situation or problem that didn't cause you not to get married, or you had a situation problem that caused you to have a kid and the guy left. I mean, everybody has a story, but imagine how that person feels that you're looking down on every single time they come to a place that they should never be looked down on.
Listen, this is exactly why what Lloyd said is paramount. Is that, I'm coming into the church, boy. I mean, I'm coming in bringing flaws and all. I'm coming in kicking the door down. This is me. And folks is looking like, okay, you can be you. Just don't say nothing.
Right.
And I was like, well, that ain't right, because how can I help somebody if I don't say nothing? But then it's like, in other words, that's against the rule. Against the rule is saying something, unless it's some type of testimony service. And then if it is, now, wait a minute. Now, let's vet your testimony to make sure it's not something that's going to go too far. And you're like, okay, I'll use myself as an example. I'm saying, like, for instance, and I said it, before, and when I had my miscarriage, I felt so alone, because I didn't hear anybody say that they had that experience. Mm-hmm. And when I had it, and I came before the church and all that stuff, these helpers reared back and could have said something. They could have said, sister, you know what? You're not by yourself. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go through this by yourself. Matter of fact, here's my phone number. Matter of fact, let's go to lunch. Let me come by. Are you available? I just want to pour out some love on you. No, them helpers act like, I hate that for you, because, none of us ever had that experience. I'm like, what the what? What is happening? What is literally happening? If I'm not saying you got to come tell me all your business or whatever, but where's the love? Even the Bible says that if you have not love, what are you doing? I'm putting my spin on it.
Preach.
What are you doing? If you ain't got no love, then quit playing, because God is love. And if you ever talk about, well, it all depends on the situation, then you need to check your salvation certificate.
Preach. But that's what we do. Just to piggyback off of that, and hopefully this does not take away at all from your experience. By the way, I'm sorry for your loss. But I had a similar situation where this was years ago, where I had a miscarriage. However, I didn't. I had a miscarriage, but I didn't. So essentially, I was walking around with a dead fetus. And I found out when I went to have the checkup, and there was no heartbeat. And in the church, this is what they did. I had to schedule a DNC for them to take it. And they were like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. No, don't do that. So you want me to walk around with a dead fetus so I could die? That is what we do, because it was wrong for me to, I scheduled it, and I had to have it done. And if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have my rainbow baby that I have now. But it's that whole idea. We get in this I don't know what you want to call it, like a stink. And we forget that, our poop stinks just like everybody else's. We're not perfect. We judge, and we look at it, and nobody's going to come and ask us a daggone thing. If you looking at people like that, ain't nobody going to come and ask you for help. Ain't nobody going to tell you there's anything wrong with them, because you already have found everything that you perceive to be wrong. And that's a big problem. But that's what we do.
But I don't know.
Love to put that scarlet letter on you, though. I hate that about the church. And I don't get me wrong, church is not always them four walls. You can get very damaged in church. And I think that was my first massive spiritual wake up in my life, was through church. And I was hurt by that. And if you have those who are supposed to be setting the example, and your spiritual leaders who are so quick to put that scarlet letter on you, where do you go? Where's your community if you thought that was your community?
Mm-hmm.
That part. Where do you go?
Where?
Yeah, because if you don't have the village outside the church.
That was supposed to be your village.
That's right. Because everything. Most of us here, Prospect. Are you kidding me? Little old tad in Prospect, Kentucky. Everything was centered around church.
Mm-hmm.
Everything,
Culturally.
picnics, summer vacations, vacation Bible school, revival, Sunday service, sometimes 3 times. Everything was around church. So when you are in that, you're like, I'm being a part of my community. And then when you need them and they slap that A on you, because I never will forget. I was pregnant at 16. Okay. And the first thing that came out of their mouth is she must go and sit up in the chair of shame.
Oh yeah.
Tell everybody that she has sinned. What about the boy?
Oh yeah, you got to confess that to the church before you can participate anymore.
And then they embrace you. We forgive you. It's not you to give forgiveness. I'm sorry. That sin wasn't
The
against
church,
you.
you need to get forgiveness from the church.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that happened a lot.
You know what? God.
You never said. Oh, you wasn't in at that point.
You know what, Lloyd?
No, you wasn't. That's not a bad thing, because that rule actually got broken. I would say early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
But for a long time, that was a hard and fast rule that you had to go sit. Listen,
better not
I'll tell you this. This is full disclosure. Every pregnant girl that I remember in the 80s and 90s in the church that I grew up with, they all sat in that chair before they ever sat in another choir stand or youth ministry or whatever.
In the choir, I was.
You ain't singing in no choir before you sit in that chair. You sit in that chair and you go confess your sin.
Yeah, this happened to you? I'm
Unbelievable.
sorry, baby. That's just ridiculous.
There was side steps around it, which is always it's just the ridiculousness of it. There's side steps. If you don't want to do it on Sunday service, you can go to prayer meeting and sit in.
Right, you can do it there.
But
you know what's funny, Lala? I never saw one guy have to sit in the chair.
You understand me?
Not one dude ever sit in that chair.
Show me. I understand the Bible. Tell me where that is in Scripture.
Meanwhile, half of them want to lay hands on you.
I
ain't talking about prayer.
See that?
Calm down. I said I can tell you exactly where it is in Scripture. They brought the woman to be stoned, and the guy wasn't around there either.
He ran from the rock.
That was in the book of Hezekiah.
No, Mama. No, that's a real story. You don't know the Bible?
No, I know, but I'm just saying it must have been. That's the way they try to say it. Like, in other words, you ain't gonna look and make sure. So let me just tell you, it's in the book of Hezekiah. Because Lloyd got up one Sunday morning about
you gotta tell this story.
If you'll turn with me to the book of Hezekiah, you should have heard all them pages turn. I was like, you need to stop it. He said, I'm just playing. Hezekiah, book of Hezekiah.
Exactly. The pastor got babies everywhere.
He never sat in the chair.
That part.
But because to help you out, Prospect, Kentucky is like Jackson, Mississippi. They're about the same size.
Oh, size.
Prospect is not the same size. Damn. Blip. That's a tiny little blip.
I was gonna make sure he got an idea what Prospect and Jackson was like, because it's about the same.
I never knew this.
But I think what makes this relevant is that it highlights the fact of what Cuz was saying earlier. We failed women tremendously, and we have been for quite some time. Like, the church didn't have their back, the community didn't have their back. So what is a woman supposed to do? And again, you got a bunch of men, even them called spiritual men, who just were boys playing with toys and not knowing what to do to build these women up. And it's taken a long time. Now we got some churches that are doing better. Not saying they're out of the woodworks, because there's still a tremendous deficiency when it comes to women in church. Like, tremendous deficiency. The respect for women is still not where it needs to be at all. But it's better. I mean, at least they're not sitting them in front of the church telling them they got to confess to something that it took 2 people to do.
Well, I know one thing. They'll also tell you that you can't stand in the pulpit. You need to stand down on the floor.
Why was I going to say that? That's what my grandmother used to say. Woman can't be in a pool.
You're like, I'm just trying to figure out why is your ground different than mine.
I can't receive nothing from a woman.
So I guess Lloyd, to back up, I guess to piggyback off your comment. So we talk about man has failed, church failed, community failed. So asking the ladies, not Cuz, not Lloyd, what is it that you would want to see Black men do going forward?
Great question, Ron.
I would like for them to have mentors. I think it's important even for women to do that. Used to be, even boys and girls clubs, which is now kind of turned crazy. You always had someone who was a little bit older and a little, it's like a mastermind. You always don't want to be the top one in the mastermind because the top one also helps the other one, and you just keep going down. I think more mentorship of those who are successful or going through something. Now you can pair them up where they're equally yoked if possible, to have that. I think we need more of that in our community. And I think that's really important. Right now, everybody's just too busy to help anybody else. But I think that's a critical key that we're missing.
When you say mentorship, what do you mean? I want to be clear about, you talking about men mentoring young men, or okay.
Boy, that is so on point, Lala. I want to say thanks to Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated for their Sigma Betas, because they do that. My son is a part of Sigma Beta Club, where it's like a mentorship.
Right.
And it's so helpful in our communities for our Black and brown boys who are, who will eventually grow into men. And one of the things that they've been doing, especially during like this pandemic, they've been meeting via Zoom. And some of the topics, I'll just say 12 point, basing their things, and Lloyd knows what I'm talking about, that they're basing the conversations that they're having with these young boys, or young men, I should say, and they're basing it on that. And so they go from everything from business and being who you say you are, your word is your bond, to business, to being professional, and time, the dignity of simplicity, and I'll leave it at that. But just those types of things, I love that they do it. Not to say that they're the only ones, but of course I'm going to call out my blue and white family first, because I know it, and I'm seeing it, I'm observing it, because it's helpful for my son. One of the things is, you guys know that my husband he isn't Black. He's a person of color, but he's not a Black man. And it was always important for me to make sure that my son understands what it is to be a Black man. Because when you see him, you're gonna know, he looks just like me, poor thing. But I'm just saying, just kidding. But anyway, you'll know that he is a Black man when you see him. So the fact that he has, a chapter of men to look up to, Black men, to see, what it's like, and to eventually have people that he can resonate with. It's a blessing. So when you said that, Lala, I just loved it. I'm like, it just tickled my spirit. So I'm glad you said that. I think it's definitely important, and I would love to see it as well.
What are we gonna see?
Mama Noise, before you answer, you cannot say penis control. That is not an answer.
It is an answer.
It is an answer.
It's an answer. That's a part of it, but I'm just saying. Accountability. Be that what you want to see in the woman. And men, I always feel like a rearing back talking about Black women need to do this and that. Well, then why won't you just be be the best you? I tell our daughters all the time, man, your father is a Southern gentleman. I clown about the country part because I'm down here in it, but I'm just saying I appreciate some of those country characteristics.
That's right.
I appreciate them.
Clean eating, clean air.
And I mean, for some strange reason, a lot of women take that as weakness. A man that wants to open the door, a man that is kind and that's not aggressive. And I often wonder sometimes, why are we attracted to the aggressive, rude boy? Why are we attracted to the what is it, roughneck? Why are we attracted to that? And then I thought maybe it's because it looks like they have the confidence. Maybe it's the confidence they have. I don't know, ladies, y'all help me out. Because I'm trying to figure out, if we know the roughneck and is not doing nothing with his life, he could care whether he live or die, and all these other reasons that are totally not be interested in this guy, but yet that's the guy you're drawn to. You saying why? And I'm thinking, man, maybe it's because you think, okay, he's confident. At least he'll try. At least he'll, he can lead.
You know what? I think that honestly, I don't know. My definition of roughneck is a little bit different. So for me, a roughneck isn't necessarily a bad thing. And first of all, I think also that a roughneck can open the door. They can be as much of a gentleman as someone who's not.
Okay.
For me, a roughneck is like there's a certain male quality, and that's not to say that there's not for someone else, but like they could have been raised in the hood, but they were raised by a woman, or perhaps maybe a father, a woman and father, a mother and father. They just happen to be a little rougher. Maybe they're rough around the edges, but they could still be a good man. An educated roughneck, ain't nothing wrong with that. I ain't gonna lie. There ain't nothing wrong with
roughneck.
There ain't nothing wrong with an educated roughneck as long as they know how to treat a woman like a lady. So that to me is different. But I don't think I answered the question in terms of what I would want to see.
No, you guys are doing good. And look, before you ask that question, so
love and respect. I'm going to answer that one. I want to say respect. I think we got to get back to loving on our Black women. I'm tired of. Let me first preface it by saying this. I don't care who you date, what race they are. I don't care. I do not care. Now, I say that, and I've said this before, my preference has always been the Black man. It's not who I ended up with, but it's been my preference. But I don't care who you date. But the self-hate part, I'm going to need y'all to do away with that. You can date who you want, but I need you to not put down a Black woman, because a Black woman is who had you.
Who birthed you.
So that's what I need. I need respect, and I need love. Love on us, and love on us is all encompassing. I think it's the respect. It's the wanting what's best. I think it's treating her like a lady. It's lifting her up, building her, building together. It's big. So everything that love encompasses, that's what I mean. So love and respect.
All right. Second part. Hate to put you on the spot, but I'm on court, so I'm gonna do it anyway. I know Lloyd gonna laugh, but I'm gonna do it any damn way.
Oh Lord.
If you had the opportunity to tell a 16-year-old young Black man, what do you need to do to treat a Black woman?
Is that your 16-year-old son?
That's my 16-year-old son. To treat him right, what would you tell him he needs to learn?
To treat her right?
To treat her right. What would you tell him?
First of all, I'm going to need you to look up. Don't hold your head down.
And I'm going to need you to take them earbuds out your ears so you can hear what's being said.
Take your earbud out. Matter of fact, come on over. I'll take you from over. Come on. See, I don't have a problem. Again, they're my kids. So. So I was giving
He
them
froze.
pretty matter not for life.
Y'all can go first. I'll
Bring your
wait.
little happy ass over here and chill out.
I'm petitioning Laura to go first.
It's not like real life learning. If you're gonna learn, let's learn real life.
Young man, you are a king. You need to act accordingly. And a right type of king knows how to treat those around him. And he understands that you have to fix a crown sometimes instead of take a crown from someone. So if you see that someone's crown is not quite right, make it upon yourself to help fix that crown, because you're going to be more powerful together. So remember who you are and conduct yourself accordingly.
Amen. I mean, you're correct. Young man, be the example of what you want to see. You want to see somebody that respects you, then be respectful. You want somebody who is a friend to you. Don't be in a hurry to jump into a relationship. Oh, Lord. Listen, at this age, neither one of y'all understand what a relationship is. Take your time and build friendship. There's no hurry to get in a relationship, and it definitely is no hurry to be sexual. Take your time, son. Don't let these other knuckleheads be trying to get you to hurry up so they can have bodies. I don't know the correct term.
You was right.
But
Bodies.
so they can have bodies and all that type of stuff. Bump that, son. You keep an eye on those type of friends who's going around trying to collect bodies. They ain't gonna be here long. I'm telling you, friendship. Be friends with these young ladies. Don't be in a hurry. Don't be trying to claim one and all that. Listen, all you need to do is be a friend right now and be the best that you can be. Don't let nobody talk you into doing drugs and drinking and all that type of stuff. I know it's what the rappers say. No,
How do we get to drugs and drinking?
because that's what the rappers be.
Okay.
That's what the rappers be saying. That's what they say. I don't get all this. I don't know.
Hey, we talking about the black woman.
I'm saying, listen, the black woman don't need no alcoholics.
Okay,
The black woman don't need a drug addicted man.
that's true.
So I'm trying to head it off. We at 16.
You said I got a captive audience. Let me hit you with everything.
Trying to head it off at the pass. We saying, son, you don't be the best you can be,
Okay.
and that's okay.
Okay. All right. You hit him with the whoop wop and the whoop wham. That was a lot.
Okay, first of all, what's your name?
Elijah.
Hi, Elijah. Nice to meet you. I'm Patrice.
Oh, sorry. I probably should have said that earlier.
Virtual
What up,
handshake.
nephew?
I'm shaking hands. Virtual handshake. Let me see.
Jeez,
Virtual
what a
handshake.
touch better than that.
Farmer. There you go. All right. So first, Elijah, number one, listen to her. That's number one. Listen. Don't just hear. Listen. Number two, and I had to write this down. Learn what love is.
Mm.
So earlier I was saying, and I don't know if you heard what I was saying about loving someone. We were talking about the black man and getting back to the black man loving the black woman. So it's a bigger picture, right? So it's not just about feelings. Love is a choice. It's a choice, right? You understand that it's a choice?
Just talking to you.
I don't really know.
You still learning. Just
No.
say I'm still
I'm
learning.
still learning.
Okay.
Don't be scared to talk. I'm still learning.
Right. And I'm gonna need to hear you. So I need you to understand that love is a choice. Okay?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
it'll make more sense later. But I need you to know now that love is a choice. I want you to lead with excellence. Understand that you are not always going to get it right. What is important is that you do your best to get it right. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
The other part is this. When you lead, eventually one day, do you plan on getting married?
Hopefully.
Okay. So when you lead, understand that there are some talents that you're going to have, and there are some talents that your wife is going to have. You're going to lead, but understand that there are times when you can be led. A good leader will always be open to being led for some things because they know that they can't do everything, right? Let me give you an example because right now it probably makes no sense. Am I right?
A little bit.
Okay, good. Let's talk about finances really quick. So, let's say, for example, you're really good with computers, right? You're
A little
really
bit.
good with computers, but your wife is good with the finances. So, who do you think should be over the finances?
Your wife?
Exactly. Don't get in this mindset that the man has to do it all and take care of it all when you know that your wife is talented in that area. You are a team. You're working together as a team. And the only way to build something as a team is if you work together. There is no I in team, right? No
Yes,
I in team. Do you play sports?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, what do you play?
I wrestle and also run track.
All right, that's what's up. That's what's up. In track, what do you do?
The 400 and the 4x4.
Nice. So the 4x4, would that be on a relay team?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can't do it by yourself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You also need your other teammates in order to do that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
In a relationship, it's a team. So you're relying on them to do something and and there's you, right? You're coming together for the good, right? And what is the greater good? Like when you are running a 4x4, what is the goal?
To win and work together.
Exactly. Think about a relationship that same way. You're building together. When you, and then the other thing that's important is respect. Even if no one else is respecting her, it is your responsibility to still respect her. Even if you don't think that she's respecting herself, it is still your responsibility to respect her. You are not responsible for what other people do, but you are responsible for you. Your actions, how you relate to someone, how you treat someone, that's your responsibility. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So I want you to keep that in mind. And what else did I have? Always be willing to learn.
What do you?
No.
The other part is always be willing to learn. Be humble enough to learn. Be humble enough to say that you're sorry when you're wrong. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Don't be so prideful that you never say you're sorry. Because you know what? If you do that, you're going to end up by yourself. That's real talk. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
But at the top of all these things, to me, that's what that's what encompasses a lot of love. So I'll go back to my last thing is understand what love is. You got this, King.
All right.
Good.
Yep.
Come on, get
She said that, get out.
out. So I figured, the in a guy's life, 16 and up is critical. It's a critical time from 16. I'm gonna say 16 through 25. So I figured I got three black queens on. Why not ask them? What would you tell a young man at this time in his life how to treat a black woman?
Oh shoot! I wish I'd have thought about that more clearly. There's a couple of things I wish.
No, we good. We good. We good. We good. We good. We good.
I wish so when I was
Mama
16.
Noise. Mama Noise. We good. We good. We good. Save for the next one.
I'm just saying.
Because I have another one and he's 14, so I can
Yeah, we
bring
do
him.
that another day. We do that
We can do it
another day.
another day.
We do that another day.
You know what, Lord?
We can't hold people hostage forever.
I'm
3
not
hours
trying to.
show.
Because Mama Noise had a whole bunch. I think she started writing down like,
Oh my goodness. And she will, she already got the headband on.
Y'all need to stop.
Oh.
It's a shame.
It's all right. We got you, Mama.
We appreciate. Listen,
Thank
first of all, we always appreciate when we can get these ladies on because this brings it expands the dynamic of this show tremendously. So thank you, ladies, for taking
Absolutely.
all of this time out today and sharing this amazing knowledge. And I think Stephon may have said it best, which is rare for Stephon because he don't always say it well. But he said it well today. He said, y'all doing it today. So I'm messing with you, Stephon. You know you my brother. But I appreciate you, ladies, and I know all the fellas do as well. Final comments for everybody.
And no, we did not plan that last segment. We literally
no, not at all. That was just in the moment and right on time, all at the same time. So, final comments. We can start up here with the lovely Lala.
Well, I think I'm in a different space right now. And if there's anything that I'm grateful for is being able to step away from the madness and see that ball of confusion that is going on in the world right now exactly for what it is. And to see that I don't have to be a part of that. And you don't either. So don't get yourself so caught up in the ball of confusion that you can't even find yourself to be a good example for someone else. And I like this space. And I'm going to be here for a while. I've made the decision to step out of that madness and to be the best that I can be and hopefully bring somebody along with me.
Okay. Mama Noise?
We let the guests go first. Patrice.
That is not an excuse for you to go on a long rant. Watching you.
Gosh, we covered a lot. I love how we go on tangents and then we don't get back to it always. I love that though. Man, what do I want to say? Just love on each other. Show love. Be authentic. And I mean, kind of like what Lala was saying, in a world that's so crazy, just love on each other. Find a way to be a blessing.
That's good. Good. Okay, Mama Noise, we ready for you now.
Forgive. Black man, forgive the mama that raised you if she didn't raise you right. If she made mistakes to the point where now you mad at black women. Forgive your mama. All of us are not like your mama or your sister or your last relationship. All of us are not the same. Each person is different. Give a black woman a chance. Don't write her off just because your mama and them or your sister and them or your first love or whatever broke your heart or whatever. Now you just like black women is, you anti-black woman. Every person is different. So if nothing else I'm saying tonight, forgive and then treat each person like that's a brand new person. That's not somebody for you to lump into a basket with everybody else that you had bad experiences with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ron, Cuz?
I'll let Cuz go. I mean, I'm gonna say something stupid.
I have nothing to add. Great show, though. Great show.
Kyrie.
Bring back Big Mama. That's my goal. Bring back Big Mama. We need the neighborhood back. We need that village back. It's the only way this shit's gonna get any better.
So we need a campaign. Bring back Big Mama.
I'm campaigning for Big Mama. I'm talking about with the slide back shoes and everything. I want Big Mama back.
And the house coat.
And the house coat. Yes.
Twitter says it's not the one relationship, it's a string of relationships. Still. I still say the same thing. You got to forgive, and then maybe you need we need to change it to women. What do we need to change it to? The brothers kept calling it a pick a ninja meter. Well, maybe your woman meter.
It works the same way. It's still a pick a ninja. Same.
Type of females. If you got a string of relationships like that, that's you picking the wrong woman. I'm just saying.
You picking what's easy.
Yeah.
I think we just gotta, as societally, value ourselves again and realize we all we got, but also realize we all we need. We are the answer. We are the answer. So if we just believe that and start extending some grace and some understanding and yet also holding each other accountable and saying be there, do the right thing, not let people off the hook, not let people get away with that's okay, that song's okay, that movie's all right. Don't worry about that. Just hold each other accountable and just say, let's do better. We can do better. Tell the story. It's okay to tell the story. We need the story, but we also need solutions in the story, not just just the worst elements of our ratchetness. Tell the story and show a solution that we can all grab hold of and say, yeah, that I can see myself coming out of it. Let's do better. Let's just try to do better for each other because we have to. I love what you did tonight, Ron, and I hope we can do more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So
the question is, did we help him? Do you think that we,
He's already down there talking. He kind of ran downstairs, talked to his mom, but then he ran up here and grabbed his brother. So yeah.
Oh, good.
Well, I'm gonna say something, and it's gonna sound harsh, but it's not.
Oh gosh.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
We don't. I mean, he's excited now, and hopefully got the information, but we won't know for another 15, 20 years if we really helped him. But if in 15, 20 years he's raising up his son and teaching his son. I remember I was on this show, and these black women told me, blah, blah, blah. You did your job.
And it's different hearing it just from your
someone else. Yes.
Yeah.
You hear from somebody else who
Right.
says the same thing, who repeats the same thing. It's the same story. That not story, but it's the same rules and regulations and responsibilities and growth. If they constantly hear that, it sinks in.
Mm-hmm.
When it's not just a lesson, but now it's the model.
Well, but I also think it has to do with the fact that, when you hear from somebody older, you like, they don't know. They don't understand what it's like because, they older and they don't understand the way it is right now. Man, remaining who you are and stop trying to be somebody else. That was my biggest problem in middle school, is that it wasn't okay for me to be myself. There was folks trying to push me into, girl, what, you ain't had sex yet? Girl, been done had sex. You ain't got no boyfriend? I've been done had a couple of boyfriends. Why you ain't got no boyfriend? It was like the pressure, the peer pressure to be like what I am is not good enough.
And the name calling because you're not doing it.
Yeah.
The name calling. I remember those days. I was all kinds of names because I wasn't doing stuff. Mm-hmm.
And you're like, wow, do I need to do that so that that they'll get off my back with that?
Look, let me mute myself. Y'all gonna hear my stomach growling in a minute.
Yeah, we got to wrap it up, Mama Noise.
It's funny to
wrap it up again.
I think the biggest lesson he took from tonight, he heard it from 3 women, not all men.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we say things a little bit different.
Oh, I'm so sure.
Right.
But
This has been a good one.
vice versa. It's important for our young ladies to hear it from men.
Yeah.
Well, then y'all get some women, some daughters, and tell them to sit around, and we'll do it next time.
Got one in the chat.
Oh, okay, Mama Noise, we ready to go. It's time to go.
Okay,
The woman just said her stomach was growling.
I'm just agreeing.
Let my people go.
Look, did y'all hear it?
No.
Wait, really quick. You Trey Club? You Trey Club?
I did what? What happened?
Are you a part of the Trey Club? No, he's a one girl. He's an ace.
I'm an ace. Believe it or not, I'm an ace.
Why you got a 3 on your head?
Oh, that's for Chance. Chance the rapper.
Oh.
Chance hat.
Gotcha.
Yeah. No Trey Club for me.
Sorry about
Ace
the love, Brad.
Ace boom. All right, y'all. Listen, thank you, ladies. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for in the chat. Thank y'all for rolling with us. Who stayed. Thank y'all for who came back and watched this later. We hope you appreciate it and hope it was good information. We'll be back tomorrow with Black Friday and all kinds of stuff. Oh, you should have known Tara was going to show up.
She been there.
I know, I'm messing with her.
Okay.
Mama knows it's okay for me to mess with her. Is that right?
No, I got to
the
look out
best.
for my Sarah.
Oh my goodness. Well, look out for
Oh,
this.
it is
end of
a
this
Sarah
show.
too.
But
Don't
look
get
out for the end of this
hustled.
show. We out of here.
Thank you for
Peace.
having me.
You're
You are
welcome.
very welcome.
Thank
God
You're
bless.
very welcome. Thank you for coming.
We'll be back tomorrow. Talking noise. Peace.
We're talking noise.